You got your green drink and everything? Okay, so welcome. We are here with Liz and Imani. They are master estheticians as well. We're here in DC, and we're going to show you guys our true feelings or explain how the aesthetics world works in our own point of views. So I'd like to introduce Liz, and this is Imani.
Hello.
All right, so Liz and Imani.
Hello.
How many years have both of you guys been working in the aesthetics field?
For me, I graduated at the end of 2012, but I feel like I've been doing it forever because it's what I was meant to do.
I went to school for aesthetics in 2007.
Very nice. All right. And Liz and Imani, where are you guys from originally, if you don't mind telling us?
I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
And I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina.
All right. So North Kakalaki and Boss Mass. All right. Do you enjoy aesthetics, and what do you enjoy about it?
So, yeah.
That's
I mean,
long.
I became an esthetician because I love skincare, and I love health and wellness. I'm really into fitness and all things healthy. And I actually started as a makeup artist at MAC, and then worked at Bobbi Brown. I've worked at Benefit Brow Bar. I've worked at Anastasia Brows. So I really, really liked helping people feel good about themselves. And so I worked at MAC in Boston, and I had started talking to one of the girls that worked there at the counter, and she thought that it would be kind of interesting to talk to me about skincare, because I was actually really more into the skincare aspect of it. And she said, maybe have you thought about becoming an esthetician? And I had thought about becoming an esthetician after college, and I had just finished college, so I didn't actually want to go back to school. And then I ended up getting my master's license, master's in business. And
oh, I didn't know you had a master's in business.
yeah,
Oh,
well, I mean, it wasn't something I planned. It was, I worked for a company that they paid for
awesome.
for me to go back to school. So I got my MBA, and it wasn't planned. It was like, it's free, you can do it, you know, and I was a counselor at the college. So I thought, okay, I'll get my MBA. Now putting off being an esthetician even longer. So I actually was thinking about being an esthetician for about 10 years before I became an esthetician. And then I worked in different companies and all over Massachusetts. And I got laid off from my company as I was in a pharmaceutical company, and they went under. And I thought, you know what? I was 27, I think, at the time.
Oh, how old are you?
What you want? I'm
look
gonna
very
tell
young,
you.
right?
I'm 38.
I thought you. Oh. Wow, we're the same age.
Yeah, she looked good.
So-
I know, right? We're the same
So
age.
yeah, I've been an esthetician almost 10 years. Is that right?
Very nice.
See, my math I have to do.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Okay.
So
That is
yeah.
wonderful. All right.
What was the question?
It was, do you enjoy aesthetics, and
Okay.
what do you enjoy about it?
Okay, yeah.
Or how did you get into the business?
Well, basically, piggybacking off of Liz is the feeling that you get as far as making people feel good. I love the skincare side of it. So my story's a little different. I had no idea that I was meant to do this career. But I was obsessed with waxing when I was a teenager. So I will never forget my first time going to get my legs waxed, because I was hairy and I was just like, oh, the shaving, I just couldn't do it. And I remember my mom took me, and actually my first time getting my legs waxed, they didn't tell me that you shouldn't put on lotion. And you know, I got out the shower, I put on lotion, you know, your normal routine, and the lady, you know, waxed my legs, and it really didn't come up. And, you know, my mom could see that I was a little bothered by it, and she went back in there and, like, she ripped them, you know, because she was like, well, we've never been waxed before. Mind you, this is, like, before 2000, so I don't even know what process they were using to wax. It was a spa, but obviously they could have done pre-wax cleanser, who knows, but, you know, I mean, so then I think I ended up going back, and I loved it, and I found the lady who was from Turkey. She was the one who would always wax me. But considering I was a teenager and didn't have that much money, $60 was a lot at the time, so I would work my fast food jobs, and try to save the $60, but I noticed that I was very good at picking up things. So I would watch her. And so eventually I got my own wax kit, and, you know, I would wax my own legs. It would take me all day, but for whatever reason, I loved it. So, and then I had a bunch of products. I was a total product junkie, and my mom would yell at me about how many products I had and threaten to throw them away all the time. So anyway, and then I went on to college, the traditional step, I guess, after high school, and got a 9-to-5 after college, and then got laid off, and then had an Oprah moment about what do I want to do in life, basically. So that's how I came up. I knew I loved waxing and skincare and facials, so it all came together. It all came full circle.
Very nice.
But yeah.
All right, that is perfect. All right, do you guys at your establishment where you work at, do you guys have the best equipment that can effectively do your job, or do you feel that your company could supply you with better equipment?
I mean, I think we have good equipment where we are. We do microdermabrasion. We do like oxygen spray. We don't use a steamer. That's different than most places, and I was trained on a steamer. We don't do, and this is something I learned in school, like galvanic, like high frequency. So a lot of people ask us about that, but that's really rare. And most places I've worked before, and you know, I've worked at 5-star hotels, and you know, they will have those things. This particular place we work now does not. It doesn't really hinder our job. It just, some people that are really savvy about what we do will ask us, you know, in certain experiences they've had with the high frequency, you know, it is good to use sometimes after waxing. It does help kill the bacteria, and you know, people will know after you do extractions that, you know, that's generally what you'll do. But again, you know, most people like where we work, it's more of a, I don't know if I want to say image, but kind of like a who's who of, you know, DC, and people kind of have these expectations of that we're the best, you know, and that we're the best in the industry. So I think they kind of trust the name, so they don't question, excuse me, they don't question that too much.
Right.
We get questions about what this no steam, and that's kind of strange. We use hot towels, but you know, there's, the philosophy is that, you know, the steam causes bacteria, and you know, it's you can oversteam, which can be dehydrate, you know. So, and we've had pretty, I mean, I've been where we are now for 5 years, and I've never had, you know, maybe 1 or 2 guests say anything negative about the facials. So, but most of what we do is waxing. So again, that might be something we can talk about, but depending on where you work, you know, I've worked at a hotel where I just did facials, and I've worked at different places that now I'd say 90% of what we do is just waxing. So just, you know, to give people an idea of when you're in school, and I don't know what your school is like or where you're going, but my school in Massachusetts did not teach us how to do Brazilian waxes, and this was 10 years ago. And now everyone does Brazilian waxes. So I had to actually go to another place, learn on my own, and I had to educate myself on it. And, you know, even after doing that, you still have to just practice, practice, practice.
That's right.
So that's the only way you're going to be able to do it. I mean, we do Brazilians, we can do them in 15 minutes. You can do them in 10 minutes, you know, it depends. There's a woman who does them in 7 minutes. I mean, it just depends on the wax that you're using, you know, hard wax, soft wax. So that's also something to think about, you know, just because you're in school doesn't mean you're in school, your education ends when you end school. It's like now in DC, and I don't know where, you know, people are going to be watching this, all states are different. So in California, they don't have continuing education as a requirement. Now DC does, which I think is long overdue. So now we do need to get continuing education, but it shouldn't be just continuing education in what we're doing. I mean, I started doing, for myself, continuing education in motivation, not just about my job, but I mean in life, you know, motivation, what's motivating to me, how I can better serve my clients. It's not just about me being the best waxer, or because Imani is an awesome waxer, and I've gotten wax from her, and I'm a good waxer, and maybe they think she's a better waxer, but there's certain things that people connect with certain people.
Right.
So it doesn't matter, generally our levels are going to be the same, but there's certain things that people have that you just can't teach. So I think that's also something you need to think about, like what makes you unique in this industry? What can you bring to the table? And you have to kind of hone in on that, because it's not just about providing a service and you're doing your facial, and it's about making someone feel a certain way. So I'm totally digressing, and I apologize.
It's a personal service. But as far as the equipment or whatever, I think it depends on where you work. I mean, we work for somewhere where we have to follow protocols.
Right.
So that gets to be very monotonous. And so if you really want to branch out or grow, then you have to keep that in mind, that wherever you work, if they have a certain protocol, you have to go by that company or that business's by their protocol, and it's not going to be up to you whether or not you want to bring in another device, which also still kind of comes full circle to what you're saying, even though you digressed a little bit, but more of like what your goals are and what motivates you, because it is very monotonous to do the same thing over and over again, and you don't have any control on what you can do in a facial. Like, yeah, we can mix up the products every now and then in a facial, kind of do what you can in the room, but other than that, you have to figure out, okay, is this something, do I want to be bound to this brand for the rest of my life, or do I want to be able to grow as an esthetician and use all these things that, people are talking about, the high frequency and different machines and the HydraFacial machine, whatever, you know, but you don't have any control when you're within a brand.
Right.
Or someone else's protocol.
Like a corporate office. Yeah, and it depends on where you're working. And I think when you first graduate from school, it also depends on your background. I mean, you'll have people who have a nursing background, and they're going to be a little bit better off, dealing with people. And, you have to get used to all aspects of our job. It's not just about waxing and doing facials and taking people on time and, all of this. It's also just, you have to, I think at the very beginning when you first finish school, the focus should be to get experience. Just get experience, because the thing is that, you need to be really good at your job, but there's so many other aspects of the job. And so I think when you become comfortable in the position, then, you can kind of figure out, okay, what's next for me?
Right.
Am I going to branch off? Am I going to open up my own place? Or am I going to have people come to my house? Or am I going to just continue to work maybe on call, or maybe I'll work in this position because, the pay is good and, I don't have to come home and I don't think about my job. So there's so many things that you could do. And like Benjamin, you also is a massage therapist. So there's so many things you can do. You can be a makeup artist. You could be a massage therapist. You could be a personal trainer. You could be a fitness instructor. And they all kind of tie together. I mean, for a while there, I was thinking about, promoting like a health and fitness program, like a, and that.
At your arms, I was like,
and I just had, and I have a 9-month-old.
What's going on? Well, you and Monty, you guys work out and you guys stay in shape. You guys look the part. Well, it's natural then.
I'm trying to get there.
You look the part. And speaking of looking the part, I don't mean to get us off topic for a moment, but do you think that estheticians, massage therapists, personal trainers, wellness professionals should look a certain way or have a certain size if you're trying to promote healing or wellness?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I think that if you're telling people that you're in the beauty industry and you aren't taking care of yourself, then no one is going to really promote you.
The only reason why people ask me, I'm pretty successful with people asking me about products and even being able to sell products, because immediately they're like, what do you use? And I'm like, okay, I'll give you a couple secrets, but I mean, and so then, but it's about them trusting you too. So maybe they've come to you a couple times, maybe you've waxed them. I've had some clients where I have done nothing but waxing them, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, I should come get a facial with you.
Exactly.
And so it really, you can't look a hot mess. You know, I mean, you just can't. It's
yeah.
just.
I think people are looking to you for their inspiration. They're
Right.
looking for you to tell them what the trends are, to tell them, you know, what.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't look healthy, and you're telling people, I mean, I also incorporate the health and wellness aspect. I'm telling people drink a lot of water. You need to eat good. You know, you need to eat good food. I'm not a nutritionist, but I know what to eat. I can't tell you what to eat because you might, I mean, I can tell you as a friend, but I can't tell you because I'm not going to diagnose you. But at the same time, you know, if you see that I'm working out and that I'm in good shape and I have a 9-month-old and I have a 4-year-old and I'm busy as hell and I'm still able to take care of myself, then I expect the same from you. How can I expect someone to myself not to do it and then expect you to do it?
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's a perfect example. I was getting my hair done, you know, a week ago, whenever, and this girl, she goes, well, can you tell me what to use on my skin? Which I get this question all the time. And she said, oh, you know, here's my problem. Soda, Pepsi. And I told her, I said, listen, I can't help you until you stop drinking Pepsi and soda. I mean, I can tell you what products you may want to use. You know, I said, but let's figure out exactly, why don't you take a break from that and see how your skin does? Because whatever you put on the inside comes on the outside.
Yeah.
All right. Dang, that was perfect. All right. So how do you guys feel about your pay? Do you like commission or do you like salary? And how much do you think an esthetician should be paid?
So I think an esthetician should be paid as much as she can be paid.
Well, right now we
work
on commission.
Yeah.
So I've worked my first job, I worked hourly, which I didn't know any better. And it turned out it wasn't actually the best way to get paid because I was doing so much and I was so busy. And now we work commission and we get a percentage. And I think I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, the thing is, some places will have a higher commission, but they're slower. Our place is busy, so we get a lower commission, but it's almost like we're never not busy. So it's hard to say, and I think they know that, and that's why they give us a lower commission.
But I think, I mean, it depends on I think it boils down to you deciding how much you should get paid and your worth. You know, I think that if you believe that you're worth a lot, then you should request that. Now, obviously, that's going to be it's easier said, you know, it's easier said than done because, like, where we work, it's commission plus tips. So I can't say, oh my God, I'm worth so much more. Give me this. You know, I can't go and ask for a raise. But what I can do is that if I feel that I am worth more, then I can do things that I should be doing on the side to try to build up to where I am in the position to request what I want or be able to pay or for us to have clients pay me what I think they should pay me. So I think it comes down to how much you think you're worth. I think there are jobs out there that I've worked even starting off somewhere like European Wax Center, you know, where they pay so low of, what is it, 5%?
Jesus.
And you know, for a waxing, it's just wrong. It's almost like there are different levels in the beauty industry, just like nail salons or whatever, where it's like a trade, you know, or like a factory, basically, and they're not paying you what you're worth. You're waxing somewhere like European Wax Center, you're waxing and waxing and waxing, and you're only getting 5%. There's no way that someone's worth 5% for doing a Brazilian.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like they're charging $200 for a Brazilian and you're getting 5%. It's only $40 some, and that's not really fair. You know, so I think that and it's okay. The training is great. You know, you got to do what you got to do. But as far as I think this question is an internal question of, do you love what you do? If so, how much do you think you're worth for loving, you know, for what you do? And how much do you feel that you should get paid?
Yeah.
And you work towards that goal. It doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight, because it's not.
Yeah.
But you just work towards that goal of like, no, this is how much I want to be making. This is how much I think I should be making. I'm going to work towards that goal. But, you know.
Yeah, because I was just doing the math on that 5% of $200. And yeah, it's comparable. Don't get me wrong. It's a good amount. But yeah, they're not charging $200.
Yeah, they're charging for it. You know what I mean? So it's about working smarter and not harder. I mean, we only do, like, our shifts are 6 hours. You know, I mean, somewhere like European waxer, I mean, sometimes you can work there for 8 hours. You can have 20 Brazilians. I mean, you're working so hard just to make a certain amount of money. And that's not really, it's hard on your body. It's just not fair, you know. But that's a personal, I feel like, question. If someone's comfortable with making X amount of dollars, then more power to you. I'm not comfortable making only a certain amount. So,
because where I worked at before at the Envy or the Heights or the Rojo Door, or is it
Red Door?
Yeah.
I can't really say that.
You said it in Spanish.
Yeah.
The Rojo Door.
Those fly-by-night places, they'll pay you like small percentages, and just like Imani was saying, there's high volume but low pay.
Yeah.
And if you are comfortable with the low pay, but you like being busy and you're comfortable with just making a nice little chunk of change where it's like just spare money, it's fine. But if you have a family, you're about to get married, or you want to go on trips, or definitely pay your bills, it's very, very hard. It's very tough. But I've also found that working in those type of places is, if you're comfortable, I had a good manager. And her name is Imani. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, wow.
My boss name was, but it was just with an A instead of the I. And Imani, she pretty much, this is the first Massage Envy in Arlington when it was opened in 2006 or 2005, one of those years. And I worked there almost 2 years, but then she got another position or another job, left, and then that's when it went to hell. It just went to, I don't mean to curse from them, but it went to crap. And I was comfortable getting paid, you know, $18 an hour, which I know a massage therapist at the time, or estheticians should be getting paid more, like $25 an hour, because I'm a dual therapist.
That's how much I was making also.
You know, so I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. I have dual license, so I should at least get $25 and up. The new manager didn't want to hear it. And they were actually trying to decrease past the 18 because I was already making more than.
But the thing is when I started making that money, you know, I was new into the industry, so I didn't know. A, I didn't know any better. Yeah. B, I was trying to get experience. So I think that, you know, at this point, if I was to work at the company that I work now, and I was making that, I would be a little bit discouraged, you know, and yeah. I mean, I think it just depends on the person, you know, and I don't know. I also was thinking, you know, too, where I did work at a place for real quick, and then it didn't work out, is that they paid people based on repeat requests. So, like, if we get, you know, and that actually is something I've kind of thought we should get at the company we work at, but I don't know. I think it's because it's a corporation, and people just keep coming back because of the name and, you know, the reputation, which is nice, but it also means, like, that's kind of what sets us aside from other estheticians, where, you know, it would be nice if we did get someone to request us, that we get a little bit more. It's a little bit more of an incentive. And it's also kind of saying, you know, well, good job, well done, you know, you got this person to come back. So you're getting rewarded, and, you know, and it's not always just about the money. I mean, yes, of course it's about money, but it's not everything. So, you know, if you know that the position is going to be a low-paying job, you might just do it for a little while. Like Imani started at European Wax Center, but she got a really good base.
That's right.
And then that kind of...
it's all about the foundation there. I had to treat that like an internship.
Right.
Because where you get, you know, crappy pay and no benefits and no nothing. So I had to treat it like an internship, but the foundation for learning hard wax is really good.
Yeah.
And it's like the networking for internships. They're very, very low. They treat you like crap. But if you're getting good and you are a team player, down the line they'll remember you. You can actually open up other doors, you know. So it's more like for me, networking, you know, collaboration, even if it's for low pay. But I enjoyed actually working at that Envy for almost 2 years because all the clients were great. My manager was great. Co-workers were great. It's very hard to find a place where you have all three that are good. Your clients, boss, and co-workers.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, it's very rare to find. But if you find it, that's why I'll stay for low pay, because I enjoy coming to work.
Right.
Because I've been in some very high places at like Aria Medi Spa or certain dermatology offices, I'm not going to name Dr. Clark, that paid me very good money, you know, a lot of money, or Is that very good at work? Anyway, paid me at least 60% commission plus my tips. Made great money, but the people were terrible. They were horrible.
Mm-hmm.
My boss was horrible. The doctors were terrible. They asked me more, questions than anything. I'm like, you're a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to know everything,
Yeah.
or not everything, but at least majority, 80%.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
He said.
All right, so what topics or conversations are not allowed in your aesthetic session, i.e., or for an example, religion, sports, politics, books, schools, or sex? What is off limits in your room or in your session?
Nothing is off limits in my
Yeah.
room. Whatever they want to talk about, unless I think I don't like to get into politics,
Mhm.
really. And I don't like to get into religion because you never know unless someone brings it up and you can kind of get a vibe or energy of how they are or how they feel about a certain topic, whether it's politics or religion. But other than that, I've had people say some pretty crazy things. And I don't really know if anyone has said anything really uncomfortable. I think, well, Liz had that guest one time where, what did she say? She said that black people weren't good waxers.
Oh, right.
Or whatever.
So, I mean,
so it's stuff like that where you're like,
yeah,
what?
I mean, that just caught me off guard. I was like,
right.
Really?
Really? Half the people I work with are black.
No, I mean, the thing is what I've learned is I talk a lot, and I am very vocal, and I do everyone has opinions, and, it's hard not to be judgmental, but I think that's also what makes a good esthetician is, people are coming in with a lot of insecurities, and you have to remember people are coming to you to make them feel better. So when they come in and it's been, some long time since they've had a wax, it's not your job to judge them, to make them feel like, oh, you're so hairy and you're a beast, because they will not come back to you. I would not go back to somebody like that. So that's one
never
thing.
Want to make anyone
the other thing is, I think,
about their hair.
When people start saying some crazy stuff, and you get people that they'll talk to you like you're their therapist, and you know what? It is interesting to listen to, but at the same time, I never say anything too personal. I give some personal information. I think that's also nice to share with them because then they're opening up to you, so you can open up to them. But a lot of times, people just want someone to listen to them. And, I try not to give my opinion on too many things. And for me, my rule of thumb is if they're talking, I'm talking. If they're not talking, I'm not talking.
Exactly.
So, that's my rule of thumb, especially with facials. Like, I tell them, it's your facial, you relax. This is your time. And if they want to talk about the weather and they want to talk about what's going on, in their life, and I'm more than happy to listen. And I'm more than happy to give my opinion if they'd like. But, I generally will keep my opinions to myself, especially when it's the personal stuff, unless I really find that they're really seeking out my, opinion. And it's usually with clients that have been seeing me for
when you're
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, when it's one of your regulars.
The other thing I think that's a good thing, and not to go away from the topic, but I think it's really important to know and, not to be burned, but these are not your friends. These people are not your friends. You may make friends with some of your clients, and I think that's important to know. You get really friendly with these people, and they're really excited to see you, and those are really important things. And for me as an esthetician, I love that people are happy to see me, and they love, I love that people are paying me to do this service. They're tipping me to do what I like to do, but they're not my friend. And I think that there's a few, I can count maybe on one hand, maybe 2 or 3 clients over the years that I've considered a friend, that I send Christmas cards to, or when they had a baby, I would give them a gift. Or I think that's important because that line can be very, very, very easily crossed. And that's one thing that you definitely do not want, just because they're telling you their life story and they talk to you about stuff that is very, very inappropriate. Sometimes doesn't mean that you can tell them about your stuff, and you don't ever tell them things that you do not want to be repeated, because as much as they're gonna say I love Liz, as soon as I cross that line, It's not, I love Liz anymore. It's, where's your manager? And you know what? I'm just not going back to her anymore. Because,
so true.
So, so to answer your question, more or less, I think because we do men waxing, also you have to be really careful with even the way you do the waxing is different. The certain body language. You know, you have to be very professional at the very beginning. You know, you only talk about certain things. And then, you know, as you see this client more and more, you know, for instance, like I had a man who was coming to me regularly, and he would come in maybe once a month. And, you know, it was like almost so, I mean, I wouldn't even leave the room, and he would just be like on the table. And it's like certain things, like if that was a guest that I wasn't used to, I would have probably been like, I probably would have made a joke about it, and then the second time I would have been like, you know what, I'm going to leave the room. Because you have to be the professional. People don't know what they're supposed to do. Like at European Wax Center, you don't leave the room, right, when the person's changing. But that's what I was told, that you don't leave the room when the person's changing. Which, by the way, helps you cut down some time.
Well, I'm so glad you guys walked into, or brought that topic up, because there are places overseas, and I think that's where they get, you know, because hence the word European Wax Center. Anything overseas, that type of massage, facials, yes, everything is done in front of your therapist. You know, yes, they get on the table naked. Yes, they don't mind disrobing with no problem.
It's cultural. It's different.
But over here, it's like they will. I've had 3 complaints where they said, well, no, they wouldn't let me lie on the table on the top of the sheets naked. I'm very, very hot. This is not how I get my massage. So it's like, yeah, you almost have to accommodate them. But in America, you know, we have certain rules and regulations. But yeah, that's what they're used to. So it's not like you're telling them you can't do it, but it's like, this is our rules.
It's different, I mean, I've had women from a specific country, I won't say, you know, just to not to single anyone out, but certain women from certain countries will just get right, I mean, literally open their robe right in front of you. And so, you know, you're just like, okay, you know, whatever.
Yeah, that.
But, you know, I think that's what separates, you know, that's what the thing is they're paying for a spa experience. We work at a spa. It's not a nail salon. I mean, we have nails there. We do nails, but it's a spa. People come in and they can get a robe if they want to do a brow wax. They can take a steam shower if they want. And so it's an experience. And so I think that has to be, no matter how comfortable you are, you know, and I think that, and at the very beginning, I think that I got too caught up in making these people feel like they're my friends. And I think that's, the thing is, they're paying for your professionalism. They're paying for your experience. They're paying for they're not paying for your friendship. So, you know, I think that's one thing I constantly have to remind myself, because it's really easy to get that confused.
But what, you know, the thing is that the only thing I have to say about that, and I think you're right, is that you do want to be sure that you're not, that you remember, okay, they're not my friends, but I think that, you know, we always talk about, like, you attract the clients you want, or attract the clientele you want. And I mean, I love my regulars, and some of them now, like, I do have their numbers, or they have, I mean, one of my clients invited me to her graduation dinner, you know, for her master's and stuff like that. So, you know, I've actually made friends. I mean, once I got in this career and went down this path, I actually lost a lot of friends. And they say that's what happens when you find your purpose and your passion, and when you become on this path, is that other people maybe who were in your life are kind of pushed out. And not in a conscious way, but just more, you're not on the same path, you don't have the same mentality, blah, blah, blah. So I think that I've been fortunate enough to attract clients, or find clients like my regular clientele, where I absolutely love them. And we are very personable. You know, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to give them my life story. You know, but you know, they've disclosed things to me. You know, and maybe I've disclosed some things to them. But it's only a very select few of people. Where I have felt comfortable enough, and vice versa, to maybe disclose certain things. And then you do have others where you don't really go there. You know, I have one regular who comes to me every single month for a facial, and we talk about, she has twin boys, and, you know, all these things, and I love her to death, but there are probably some things that I would talk about with some other regulars that I wouldn't talk about with her, even though I love her to death.
Yeah.
And she's like ride or die for me every single month,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. But there are some regulars that are just going to be more down, and you do start to form friendships. Like I can't see myself working on someone for 2-3 years. I've been there almost 3 years, and I can't imagine forming some kind of relationship or friendship, you know, if someone's been coming to you for so long. But yeah, I do feel like that, yeah, you definitely can't be as comfortable. It just depends on the situation, your personality, their personality, you know, and you'll kind of sense what you can talk about with someone or not. You know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of sense from them, like, I don't think I would really go there with her, you know, or not, you know. So
I totally agree. I totally agree.
What was it now? It was smoothing.
Have you ever had a client that has said something to you that is sensitive in nature, such as, I feel depressed today, or I'm gonna go kill my husband, or I'm sleeping with a superstar, and would you like to come on over and see the film or whatever?
What?
So I don't know. I've never had anybody say anything about, like, okay, depressed maybe, but like emotions are, I guess, not something about their killing somebody, but
Okay, good.
But yeah, I mean, again, that goes back to the whole thing of being, you know, a therapist, but also not judging people. Okay, so the thing is you'll have people coming in and they're gonna have a really bad day, and they're gonna, guess who they're gonna take it out on. So the thing is you know,
and
well,
we're
more or less the front desk.
No.
The front desk actually gets most of it, but we get some of it. You know, people will come in and they're flustered because they're late, and the metro's late, and they had a bad day, and you know it's just not going their way, and then. You know, my job, I feel like,
isn't... I don't care.
No, it's my job is to make them feel better when they leave. So, you know, I don't sit there and judge them. And you know, I have to be honest, at the very beginning, I'm going to say, I did take it personal when people were late.
Yeah,
I took it personal. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, if you take it personal, this is not going to be a good job for you. Because if you take everything that personal, what people are doing, you just have to know it's not personal. If people give you an attitude, it's not personal. Unless you're giving them an attitude, of course, and then it's personal,
right.
Then it's your fault. But if you're just being yourself and you're pleasant and you're nice and you're doing your job and you're doing the best you can, then, and there will be people still who complain. But the thing is that most of the people I've found are actually good-natured, and you know they're not. Their intent is not to make your life a living hell. They're just telling you this is a bad day for me, and sometimes you just have to let them do it and be there and just vent. And I think that once you get, like, Amani, you said something actually I wanted to kind of talk about too, was you said, I love this client, right? And the other thing I've noticed is if you love your clients, they will love you. And I mean it in a normal way, like love, you know, in a reciprocal, like, I love you because you're so good at what you do, but not only because you're good at what you do, but because you love what you do.
Yeah.
And that comes through.
Oh,
when
yeah.
People can see that, and people can sense that, and people know when you love what you do. And I think that the more that you really find your niche, you may get this position in this esthetician job, and you might be like, this is not for me.
Right.
And then I would encourage you not to continue to do it just because you went to school for it and you think this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Right, yeah.
The thing is, there's so many jobs that you could be doing. I mean, I was a makeup artist. I worked at just a brow bar. I mean, I worked just doing brows. I worked at, I worked at a place where I was doing just facials. Now I'm working at a place where I do mostly waxing. And so I think that, like, if you had asked me when I was in school, do I love waxing? No, I don't love waxing. Do I now? Yes, I do. And I think if I was at this place where I'm working now and I didn't like waxing, I wouldn't be happy. There's actually someone there, anybody that works with us, if they don't like waxing, they're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
So you learn real quick. Like, you might want to ask these questions when you go on the interview. You know, when you ask, what is your percentage of waxing?
Yeah.
What is your percentage of Brazilian waxing? What is your percentage of facials? what kind of clients are you getting? Are you getting hotel guests? Are you getting clients that live in the city that you live in? Are you getting locals? Are you getting people from out of town? Like, because that's all going to change your experience of where you work. So,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I always tell people, when you go to aesthetic school, I mean, the majority of what you learn, it's facials and waxing. That's the majority. I mean, yeah, you learn makeup, blah, 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 whatever. But I always tell people, if you do not like waxing, please don't wax. Please don't wax. Please don't go near someone's vagina if you don't like waxing.
Yeah.
Because they're going to know, they're going to be able to tell, and you're just not going to do a good job. And I don't expect everyone to love waxing. You know, you don't have to love waxing, but you have to be honest with yourself. And that's that, okay, are you hating it because you haven't gotten it?
Yep.
Or are you hating it because you really, that's just not really what you want to do? And there, you have to find the difference, because you can start off, like Liz said, you could start off thinking that's not your thing or whatever, and then next day, next thing you know, you're like amazing at it.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, okay, have you given it enough time to, and I'm using waxing, for instance, because I feel like that's very specific, and I feel like that not a lot of people want to wax.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that with waxing, it's like, okay, how much time have you given yourself to learn how to wax? Have you constantly been practicing? And if you have been practicing and it's just not your thing, fine. Or are you immediately like, oh, I didn't get it, I hate it, I'm moving on to the next thing, you know, because you want to give yourself enough time to figure out if you like it or not. I mean, that's like the lash extension training I did. I mean, I thought that I was going to be able to do well. I thought I was going to like it. And I practiced, and I was like, you know what? I had to be real with myself. I was like, this is just not for me. Like, yeah, there's a lot of money in lashes, but this is just not for me. Like, doing lashes is not for me. It's not for me. And so I had to be real with myself. Like, no matter how much money I thought I would make putting on these lashes one by one on, oh my God, thousands of lashes. Oh my God, it just drives me crazy thinking about it. Then I was like, nope, I'm good. I'll find something else to do. Like,
yeah, and I think that's also,
I'm good. I'm just gonna go get some mascara.
School,
like, I can't.
Aesthetic school, I think for me and where I went, they focused mostly on the facials, and we worked on the public too, which was actually really great.
Yeah. So
but at the same time, you know, it's not like they were showing us how to do Brazilian waxes, as I mentioned before. So I didn't think I would be ended up doing 8, 10, however many Brazilian waxes we do a day, and enjoying it, you know. And I think that's kind of even funny for clients. Clients ask me all the time.
Oh yeah.
So, how did you get into this? And I know they're thinking, because I'm waxing your, you know, hoo-ha, you know, and they're like, why are you enjoying this? You know, it's like you just kind of like wonder, you know, like, are you, and I think it's because you can tell that I'm enjoying it. It's not like, you know, just like, oh, I can't wait for this service to be over, you know?
Right.
So I think that's something that, you know, and I'm just honest with people, and I tell them exactly what I said. You know, I started out not doing Brazilian waxes, and then, you know, it just depends on where you work. Where I work now, we do a lot of Brazilians, and had I not liked them, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be doing it. You know, I would be doing working at a place that does mostly facials or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I love that, you know, I do waxing and then I get a facial here and there. Or there's some days that I work and I just get 3 or 4 facials. And those are nice, and it's like a break. But I love waxing because you can control your time, and you can control how fast you do it. So I think, you know, with facials it has to be a certain number of minutes. Like if it's a 60-minute service, it has to be 60 minutes. With waxing, it's 30 minutes we get, and, you know, you can do a brow and a lip in that time. You can add services. You could be done early, you know, and you have time to do other things. Or like a lot of these clients are late, you know, so you have time to wait for them, and you're you're waiting and waiting, and then you still have time to do the wax.
And then you have time to explain to them why you can't do their full service.
But at the very beginning, you know, it's not like that. You're waiting for them, and you're getting anxious, and you're like, where are they? I have another client right after them. But you know, that all is just learned. Those are things that you learned. Timing is learned. So
that's true.
And just to be clear, the question earlier, it didn't mean to scare anybody. It just, I ran across a situation or several, where there's people who will tell you certain things. I'm supposed to document those things because some people act out on the things that you tell them in the room. And it's more of a massage therapist incidents. I think in facials, people are more laid back and calm.
I mean, we make notes, though. That's one thing I do encourage. We do make notes. And I'll make notes. If someone says something crazy or off, or like Amani knows, I make notes about everything. Like I made a note about that woman who made a comment.
We do, but
because you never know if she's gonna say something like, maybe she's gonna say I said it, or maybe she'd say, you know, you never know.
Well, what ended up happening was I ended up having that lady, and I read the note, and I had her for a facial, and I was like, so I asked the lady, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, I'm gonna get you, and I said, do you want me to wax your lip? I'm thinking to myself, I'm black, I'm gonna do it. You know, and I said, do you want me to wax your lips? She's like, oh, yeah, sure. You know, and then she loved her lip wax. And I'm thinking,
right, and I think that's also
one of the things, I did that to be funny.
That, you know, you have to be careful making notes about that, okay? I wasn't like, this lady hates black people.
Right.
You know, I basically wrote what she said in verbatim. You know, I wasn't like judging it. I was just letting people know, because this isn't okay for her to say. And to be honest with you, if she said it again, it might be a situation where we don't ask her to come back. Or, you know, if she offended someone, like, I mean, it's funny that she got Amani, because Amani has a really strong personality. And so I think that, you know, for her to say that, you know, I don't know. I'm not trying to, like...
Well, that's a reason to make notes, is because it's like, okay, I have this lady for a facial now, so what is she thinking about me having her for a facial? Is she going to be uncomfortable in the service? Because if so, then I don't want to do your service. Or is that going to cause you to complain
for no reason
and then get a discount or whatever because you think I'm black and I'm not competent or whatever.
Well, for her to say something so vulgar and so strong, you know, just out of the blue, like, I mean, we weren't even talking. I mean, it was like so random. And I mean, I didn't know what she thought I was going to say. Like, I know, right?
I noticed that. I work with a couple black girls and they are horrible.
I mean, did she think I was going to agree with her? I don't know.
That's what I don't understand. People's, you know, or maybe it's just that comfort level of you're white, she's white, and maybe she thought that you were going to agree, but either way, that's why
it was
it's
inappropriate.
Either way, it's
she made me feel uncomfortable. I mean, had I said that, I know I would have made her feel uncomfortable. You know, it's just things you don't say. You know,
but it's funny because I can't remember where she lived or if she was a local, because I noticed some people who maybe come from out of state or who are not even used to seeing black estheticians or people who are a different race are a little like, you know, whatever, like this. Well, that's another incident, but. You know, so I can't even remember. I think she may have been local, but I mean, I think that our spa is so diverse. That's the thing. I mean, you walk in and you see everybody there. And the estheticians there, actually, before it was only half of us are black. Or before a couple people left. You know what I'm saying? Like, black, white, Asian. I mean, and so... For her to even say that, it's like, well, you got lucky that you even got Liz waxing you, because you could have gotten, you know, the other two people that are here who are, you know, I mean, so that's why it's just good to have those notes like that, because if you find a history of people making comments or being constantly late or whatever, then you kind of know, or even... maybe complaining about things that and trying to get a discount. So
well, I also think it's all situational, right? So we've all been at this place now. We've been at this location. I've been there 5 years. You've been there 4.
Everyone minimum 3. July will be 3.
Okay. So other estheticians, they've been there just as long, and I think that we all know how each other works. So it depends. Okay. So some people might be watching this being like, I can't believe she even made a note about that. But the thing is that you have to know who's going to be reading these notes. You know, I think that if I was in a new environment and I didn't know the company and I didn't know the people and I didn't know the
culture.
Yeah, the culture. I don't know. I probably would have asked someone, like, what do I do about this situation?
Yeah.
You know, instead of like just taking it upon yourself. The one thing I have to say is always cover your back, and I have to say, you know, however you can do that, you know, you've got to tell other people what's going on if you feel uncomfortable, or if someone's doing something, or, you know, it's not just about you making the other person happy. And I think we said that, but I think there's a few situations that, you know, you should feel comfortable also. You're not a servant, and you're not, you know, a maid. You're not.
You're not the help.
You're not, you know, someone that's, you know, in dire need of money.
Yeah.
You're doing this because you have no other position that you can do. You know, and you have to think like that too. Like I always tell myself, I have a lot of choices.
Yeah.
I have choices. Yeah. And I don't have to do this. I enjoy serving people. I enjoy being of service.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
You're not.
It's one of the hardest jobs that you'll have, and just like being a waitress, you know, or being any service provider.
Right.
But you know, you don't have to put up with people's BS. You know, see, I think it's hard as a new esthetician to know when someone's taking advantage of you.
Well, you don't know because I didn't know. When I started where we are, I had I didn't even know I could say no in the room.
Exactly.
I just thought that I had to do what these people told me. I mean, you know, even if I was out of time and someone wanted their butt cheeks waxed
and that's
or whatever, like I was just like,
but that's all where you
God,
work.
I have to do this. And then my manager was like, it's okay, you can say no.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, really? I can say no to these people? And she's like, yeah, she's like, yeah, you have to say no, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, I had no idea. Oh, you go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I'll wait till you're done.
So I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I had no idea that I could say no. And she's like, yeah, I mean, if someone's late and, you know, it's their fault that they're late, and then you have to take another person, you can't be late for the person who was on time, all because this person was late. So if you have to tell them, hey, you can't get your full service, then that's on them. You make a note about it.
Right.
And
but that's at where we work now.
Right. I mean, it depends on
where you work.
On the place.
Where I worked before, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
The owner would always tell me, you know, no, you need to take her. You need to take her now, even though she's 20 minutes late, and we'll work it out. But so you have to know when you get hired what your responsibilities are and what the expectations are.
What the expectations are, exactly, because you don't want to be, you know, well, and that goes back to, worth and personal goals and what you want for yourself in that profession, because you may not want to work for somewhere that's demanding that you take a client that's 20 minutes late and you thought that you could leave. You know what I mean? So that's one good thing about where we work is because it is structured. Like once you're done, and that's it. There's no like, oh, Money, this person's late, I know your shift's over. No, it's like we're done, we're closed, I'm done with my shift, someone else is going in the room. It's very black and white. You know, so that's the good thing. But if you're working somewhere maybe at a smaller company, or people can, you know, have more free will or option to say, hey, you know, I need you to take this person 20 minutes late or whatever, then once again, just like Liz said, you have choices, which is that you don't have to, you know, then you go find another job, or you find out what the expectations are at that job before, you know.
Well, and just to, I guess, piggyback on what you guys were saying, for me, it was a lot of instances where people would comment, you know, crazy racial comments, or, and it could be black on black. You'd be surprised who talks about you, and you're the same skin color. I'm like, what? You know, nigga, did you just say? Right. I'm like, man. But anyways, I learned the hard way of documentation. I didn't document one time where a young lady, she actually brought in a laptop, and her laptop had like all these, you know, Facebook posts or tweets about her. She was a college student, but somehow, some way, she slept with somebody else's man, and she was so into these tweets about her. I guess they found out on the campus, and they put her on blast, which they took it down, don't get me wrong, but she was still reading things, and she was reading it in the treatment room. I was like, well, what's going on? Are you going to be on your laptop, or are you going to get the massage? You know, what's going on? And then she's getting a facial right after. And I should have actually documented, because the whole time she was weird. The whole time, like, she would just stare at the screen, even when she was lying on the table. Like, okay, she had the laptop underneath the table when she was face down. It's like she could not get her mind off it, and she ended up trying to commit suicide, like in the parking garage. Same day, and I didn't document anything. You know, it's like, man, I could have at least told my manager. I feel there's something a little off on her, because even when I asked her a question to turn over, she would, you know, like, she was just so focused. I've seen it before, where, you know, we all have cousins, brothers, sisters who we get girl crazy, we get boy crazy, and we get fixated on the loved one, and we know something's wrong. We should be saying something, and we don't.
Well,
this was one of those instances.
One thing I think I tell the front desk this too, and Amani, and I think estheticians, you know, you meet a lot of people, so you get to get this life experience from meeting people, and you're exchanging energy, right, as you know, with being a massage therapist. So I think one thing I tell the younger girls at the front desk is they really need to be aware of not only just people's energy, but also your instincts and your gut. You know, when you have a feeling something's off, you know what? Don't even worry if you can't make a note about it. Just tell someone. Just tell the manager. Just be like, I'm just feeling so uncomfortable with this person. I don't know why. There's something about them that's off. And you know what? You'll find something happened after their service, or they ended up walking out trying to not pay for their service, or you know, things like that, where I say to the girl, I'm like, one of the girls at the front desk, I said, you know, follow your gut with these people, because you know, most of the time
he's like, I'm good with this.
All right, do you have a ritual or a mantra that you do or say before you go to work or before you start a session?
Well, in school, when I was in school, and this was like 10 years ago, I went to it was a kind of an energy work, kind of, what do I want to say, not intuition, but they worked a lot with energy and your, you know, mindset and everything, and we would say, you know, before you started on your person, you would say, I'm bringing about my highest esthetician. And so I just started doing that again, and I do take a deep breath before I go into the room, and then when I'm doing the massage in the facial, what I've noticed is I try to be more present, and I'm very intuitive with someone where they're sore, or like if I, you know, not always checking in with them, but I check in once or twice, but where I'm not checking in with you and saying, hey, does that feel good? How about now? Does that feel good? How about that? Is that okay? Is that pressure okay? Is that pressure okay? You know, I ask once, and then I can just tell by their body language. And then usually when I'm most present is when they tell me they had the best service. Like they'll be like, that was awesome. Thank you so much. You know, so I think the mantra I say is, you know, I'm bringing about my highest esthetician, meaning I'm bringing about my, almost like, you know, our hands are our tool. So, you know, being conscious touch, you know, being conscious of, even when I bring God, I can't think today. God, what the hell? The hot towels. You know, when we bring the hot towels to their face, you know, you know, just being aware of how I'm doing that, and being aware of where I put my hands, and those types of things, I think, more or less. I think I've been more working on my intuition, also reading clients too, so I can pick up stuff on them, you know, with certain things.
I mean, I think that, I mean, once again, it depends on the job. Like, okay, you know, what do you have to say to yourself before you go to the job? Like, do you like this job? Do you like the people you work with? Do you like the money you make? What do you need to rehearse before you go in there, depending on the job? So, like, for this job, I love it. I love my clients. So before I go, I just remind myself that I just remind myself that, okay, I love the clients. I love what I do. You know, I love waxing. I love the facial. So that gives me kind of like a boost every day. I don't have anything specific that I like chant or say or anything, but it's just more of like being blessed that I have a job, A. Be blessed that I have a job that I actually love, and I'm going to a job that I don't hate, because I know what that feels like too. And, you know, being blessed that I have great clients, or if I see a client on my books that, you know, one of my regulars that I love, then I'm going to try to look forward to seeing that person and catching up with that person. So that's kind of like my way of getting through the day is that I know I'm going to see one of my favorite clients today, you know, or whatever. Or even working with Liz. I only work with Liz one shift. So I'm like, okay, I know I get to work with Liz tonight. Yeah. So even though there's a facial on my books that is not my favorite facial or whatever, it's like, okay, well, I know I get to work with Liz. So you got to always find something that, you know, if you're finding that you have to find too much to say before you go to work or whatever, then you probably need to going to work. Right. Then you probably
Maybe you're not in the right place.
You may need to make a change. Yeah. But other than that, you know, I think that the more and more you find that you have to say more things, that's when it becomes an issue. And so for me, I'm coming up on 3 years. I'm finding a little bit that I have to kind of get myself a little bit more motivated more and more each day. Yeah. So I know.
So maybe you're taking a different path?
Yeah, so I know that sooner or later I have to take another path or grow in another way because things are getting a little monotonous and I'm really having to find more and more things to to get me motivated to go to this particular place. And it's nothing bad against the place, it's just more of that personal growth and trying to figure out, okay, what's next? Because you can't stay in the same spot. Well, if you love what you do, you shouldn't be stay in the same spot.
It's not like you just tried it for like a month and
right,
you're like,
right.
oh,
like
this isn't working out.
It's almost 3 years, so it's time for somewhat of a transition. Yeah. But that's why it's also good to growing, but it's also good to work on things on the side that also have to do with the industry that you're trying to work on. So then that way it gives you something to look forward to. Like today's my day off. I really, really wanted to stay in the bed. I did. But I know that like, oh, okay, I get to meet with Liz and Ben and we're going to talk about this and no telling who it'll reach, you know. And so doing little things like that on the side then keep you motivated. So then I know when Saturday, with Saturday being my Monday, I know that, oh, wow, on my days off I did this. And then now I can start the work week again. And what do I have to look forward to this week? You know, so it really is just kind of staying aware and really being like, okay, why am I feeling this way? And if so, what do I need to do about it? Yeah. It doesn't mean you hate what you do or whatever. It just means you need to constantly be growing. And you need to be around people who are also growing. Because if they're stuck, then you're going to be stuck. And
I think one thing in the industry that I've noticed that we don't have, and you know, you have to seek out, is mentors.
Yes.
You know, people that you look up to, or people. There's not a lot of like, you know, celebrity estheticians or whatever. You know, so I think that's like I think we talked about this at the very beginning. Was, you know, how can you become not just a better esthetician, because you'll get better if you keep practicing, but becoming a better person, becoming a better even whatever it is, spiritually, religiously, you know, motivationally, like listening to Tony Robbins or whatever, you know, seriously. No, I mean, I started listening to Tony Robbins. So, you know, I mean, it's just got you hyped up when you start listening to him. And the thing is, you start thinking about, well, is this my path? Yeah. Even though I love what I do. You love what you do, there's no question. But maybe it's time for change. You know, and those are the things that, you know, when you get stuck, that you kind of don't know, but it's really hard when you're first starting out. As a, you know, you're first starting and you don't know anything. Yeah. And so
you don't have to know everything.
No, and you should always be learning. There's always something to learn.
Yeah. So I'm glad you guys brought up the fact that everybody needs somebody to look up to. It doesn't have to be like a big, huge movie star or whatever. Just somebody who has been in the business or going through the same struggle you're going through. They're the same ethnicity, or even if they're not the same ethnicity, they practice on people who are like you, or they see like, wow, okay, I didn't know I could do this on my own skin type, or skin type 4 or skin type 2. I didn't know they could do chemicals. I didn't know I could do something for rosacea. So there's things out here that people need to see or hear. For me, I listen to XM radio. I listen to like Joel Osteen. Like if I need to pick me up sometime, I don't know if you guys listen to Joel Osteen, but he's a preacher on the radio that just, I don't see how anybody can ever have an attitude after hearing him speak, because he has so many life experiences that are just like me. But I need to hear it from somebody else. Or I listen to my mom, you know, or I call her. That's nice. Call my brother. Hey, how you doing? Family, you know, heals all. Of course, I gotta listen to my turn up music sometimes, you know, just to get me in the mood. Yes, you got. Sometimes you have to. Or I listen to R&B if I need to calm down. Listen to Jill Scott or something, or you know, some jazz. But my mantra is pretty much when somebody's on the table and I say a little prayer in my mind. I don't say it out loud because people with religion and beliefs, you know, I've worked on people who are atheists, like who are or not atheists but antichrist. So for me, when they breathe in, I say we're gonna breathe in peace, and they take a deep breath, and I have aromatherapy in my hand. Right. And I say we're gonna exhale doubt. We're gonna breathe in.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Wonderfulness, or you know, and it's just three. It's just 3 breaths. You know, just.
Well, even just the breathing, because then you know that's nice too, and you're just getting the person to kind of relax. I mean, there's so many times I've been on the table and like, or people on the table, and you see them go. You just see them take this big exhale, like you know this is the first time they're sitting down, especially if they're kids.
Recharge.
I mean,
and I've gotten pretty bad at that. Like we'll do the facials and. Or I'll bring someone in for a facial and I'll start cleansing the face. And at Aveda, we really learned to, so I went to school at Aveda, but we really learned to, you know, take the breaths and have them inhale and exhale. And that really just gets the person kind of relaxed. And I have to admit, I haven't been as disciplined with that as I used to be, I guess, is the intro kind of part, you know?
Yeah, because it's almost
that's
like
important.
You're retraining them how to take a breath or relax.
Some people just don't know how to relax.
You just tell them, hey, breathe in peace, exhale hate. You know, because you're breathing out the nostrils. You just tell them what to do just 3 times, and like, okay.
That's a good one.
Goodbye. Give me my
try
money. Sound stroking. All right, so how long have you been an aesthetic professional?
I finished school at the middle of 2013, so about 3 years now.
And what do you like about aesthetics?
I like informing people about skincare, about how they can start seeing results by using the right products, by doing the right thing for themselves. But I always take it deeper too. I believe that skincare is from the inside out.
All right. So the place that you work at right now, is it a really good place to work at or to start off working? Or do you think right now that it could be a lot better?
Where I'm working at now, I think with any place, you're gonna try to stay positive. It has its ups and its downs, but the most important thing is just knowing that I'm there to heal. I'm there to make people feel really good, and that's what matters.
All right. So at your practice, do you have any like mantras or a type of dance or saying that you do before you work on somebody, like a healing, like praise God, help me make it through the day?
I'm very good at grounding myself, meditating every day, setting my intentions. I do a lot of visualizations where I imagine myself shielded so there's no negative energy, because we touch people and it gets tough, all their energy. So that's what I do. And every time I step into the room to provide the service, I do 3 deep breaths, smile, and then I begin.
Very nice. All right, so the place that you work at right now and other places probably in the future, do you have certain jealousy going on where you work at, like where people don't like you because you are a new esthetician or a veteran esthetician? You're new to that business, but you've been doing aesthetics for a little while. So you're not a rookie or anything, you're definitely a veteran. So do you think that people are just there to be smiling in your face, or are they genuine good people that you work with?
My coworkers, I tend to gravitate towards those that are there to do their job professionally. Simple as that. Gotcha.
All right, so do you think that your school has prepared you for the aesthetics industry?
Yes, my school did a phenomenal job. I went through the Aesthetics Institute in Virginia, and they really helped me with the state board by really making sure that I knew what was going to be asked of me, and I felt they really did prepare me. I had some good teachers.
Very nice. All right, so environment that you have worked at or previously worked at before the job you have now, did you like working there better, and what did they have that made it so much better or worse?
I work at a chain, I guess that's what you call it, a chain.
Yes.
And the place I worked at before was privately owned, small spa, and the difference was night and day. Chain is, I feel really, it's just getting the numbers, getting the heads in and out. And with the other place, it was an experience. From the minute they stepped through the spa doors, I love the place. That's where I'd want to not work at a chain, because I feel chain places are more for a stepping stone, a starting point, getting a lot of experience, getting your hands on a lot of people to get that experience. But then I feel that you got to take it to the next step and go for more, you know.
If you don't mind me asking, how well or how much do they pay you per hour where you're working at now versus the better spa that you used to work at?
I was working at 50% commission at the spa before. The chain, they start you out at $15 an hour, which I feel is not enough. The amount of schooling we go through and what we have to, you know, because I am dual licensed, so both aesthetics and massage. So I forgot the question.
It's all right. So do you feel that being a dual licensed therapist gives you an edge?
Yes. Oh, I'm awesome. I really feel that even the clients, I think, appreciate someone that is dedicated, that has put forth that much schooling, you know, and I did 600 hours for basic aesthetics, and then 600 for Masques, and then 600 for the massage.
Right.
So right there, you know, each program being like 6 months, I did a year and a half worth of nothing but dedication to learning the body. And I forgot the question again. Then we got.
All right, so Autumn, as a dual licensed therapist, do you feel that if you only had one license, like aesthetics or massage, but mainly aesthetics, how hard is it to maintain or retain clients, or to pretty much keep your books going?
Facials they're trickier because you can only, you know, get them so often. And when it comes to massage is more desired, I'd want to say, over facial. The chain I work at now, I've been working there for a couple months just as an esthetician, and my books have been about 40%. And as a female therapist, massage side, they are so in demand. It's insane. So it only makes sense to do both. But I guess if you were to work at a smaller spa where they're focused mostly on the facials, then I could see how you could survive and live off of 2-3 clients a day.
So what are some
versus 8, or, you know.
I got you. So what are some weird or extra, how should I say, some above and beyond type of moves that your therapist or you have done for clients, like traveled over an hour just to come to work for one client, or you've written good get well cards, or I haven't seen you in a while, I appreciate your business?
Well, for instance, tomorrow's my day off, but I'm going in for a requested service. I don't want to, but at the end of the day, you're gonna do what is best for your profession and building your clientele and keeping the clientele happy.
That's right.
But it should be, I don't go above and beyond when it comes to cards and stuff like that. I just make sure that when they are there in that service for that hour, however long they are, it's all about them. All of my energy is about them, and they feel that. And that's what I go above and beyond. I'm not distracted by my life, my problems, my issues. Like I said, I take those 3 deep breaths, smile, it's go time.
All right. So do you know anybody that you have worked with, a co-worker esthetician, who travels a very long way just for 1 or 2 clients?
I've seen that, yes. And it's sad. It's sad. You feel bad, especially if they're driving like 40 minutes. And you know, for instance, her schedule's open for 6 clients, but she only gets an average of 1 or 2 every day. So that's how it can become draining, where you know you're traveling and you've got to travel back all for 2 hours of service. So,
that's right.
Or 1. So how are you going to drive for 2 hours for 1 service?
That's right.
You know, the money at that point, is it worth it? Especially not if you're making 15 an hour.
Yeah, because that 495 traffic will kill you. Not saying it's bad, it's just people don't know how to drive, and plus it's always congested.
Yeah.
But, so how is your management at the place that you work at right now? Are they keeping up to date with certain file folders or client folders? Are they getting you the retention that you need, or are they cold calling? Are they actually doing their job that helps you do your job a little bit easier or better? Like, do they have a standard operating procedures book, like if you forget something, or?
They do. I think at the place where I work, there's always that high turnover rate when it comes to people up front that work the front desk.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of proper training, which does fall on the management. And it upsets a lot of the therapists, because when you have an improperly trained front desk person, it's all chain, the weak link man.
That's right.
And the clients are not going to get an exceptional service if something along the way is not run right, performed correctly.
So do you think these, I guess, chains have our best interests at heart, or do they just want to hire us just to use us so they make a lot of money?
Yes. That's my feeling. If I was to be completely honest with chains, it's about the money. They're going to charge $200 for service and pay their client, you know, the therapist $15. You know, that's, to me, it's ridiculous. They're out to get their money.
That's right.
But like I said, chains are a good stepping stone for beginning therapists to get that experience, like I said. But other than that, just do your time and then sit in where you fit in. Find the spa or a place where you like how it's run, you know, and you're comfortable and you're happy, because nothing burns you out faster than going into a place that's just working against you. You know, it's like, I come in here, I give my best, why can't you?
I agree 100%. At the place that you work at right now, because it is a chain and people don't keep up with their records or write their names on tips or put it in the right tip jar, has your tips gone stolen or missing?
Yes. The place I work at now, I've been there for about 5 months, and I say we connect. The therapists are very good at checking to see the credit, you know, the tips that go on the credit card and the tips in cash. And if they don't match up with how many services you actually done, it's happened to me 3 times where tips were not there, and you start wondering, did they tip me? Or did they just go missing? And you don't know. I've had cases where there's money in envelopes in the tip place with no name on. And all of a sudden it's like, it's the front desk. Again, like earlier, if someone is not trained properly and is not doing their job efficiently, something's going to go wrong, and now someone else is going to have to pay for it. Someone else is going to have to suffer because someone doesn't want to do their job correctly. Especially when it comes to money, you can't really be messing around with people's livelihood, you know? It's sad, but it happens.
So what happens to that money that goes unclaimed? If they have a tip that has no name on it, do they keep the money?
Yeah.
Dang, that's wrong.
I do not. I have a couple times where I've seen the money in there with no name. It just sits in there for a while. And then I'm sure it just goes back into the cash drawer.
That's crazy. So how many facials are you comfortable with doing back to back to back? Or do you take breaks in between? What's a good schedule?
I would say it's based on your own stamina. I do 4 break 4 just because I feel that it's 4 hours, but you only have like so many minutes in between each session, and it's rush, 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 and you just need that time to breathe, reset, eat, and then go back to work. But I know therapists that are doing 5 break 5, or they're doing 10 hour days, and you see them just starting to get tired and exhausted, and I don't think that's fair to the clients. When you aren't giving your best, they feel that. But a lot of times it's because they're in there trying to get more money. You know, they're not getting paid enough, so they got to do more work.
Well, do you think an esthetician or a massage therapist should seek outside means of extra employment?
Yes.
Such as like the massage on the go programs like Soothe or Zeal, and the hotel chains that are now opening up to where they'll hire independent massage therapists and estheticians? What do you feel about those, or are they really, really good for you and your schedule?
I feel that there's certain type of people that like to go into the same building, have that same routine, the set, everything the same. And then there's people that are more, not so much wanderers, but they like change of scenery, they like new things every day, they don't want it to become monotonous, you know. I think it's the Zeal and Soothe and that, they're amazing. A lot more money. I feel like you're getting what you're worth, you know, as far as pay wise. And it's a freedom that comes with it as well. You don't have to worry about coworkers, you don't have to worry about management, really. And it's work for yourself is ideal.
That's right.
Absolutely. Be your own boss. Be your own boss.
All right, so if people really knew the procedures and what's going on in their face, I guess at the bare minimum, would they really pay for the services that they're paying for right now at those chains?
No. I don't understand it sometimes, actually, if I was to be completely honest with you. I would not go in and have those services like that. It's not really, I mean, the therapists themselves make an experience, yes. When you have a good therapist who makes it all about the client is going to walk away happy. But at the end of the day, there's a ceiling. You can only go so high, you know. And a lot of times up here is what you get to do when you're working for yourself. You really get to tailor it to the client, what the client wants. And where I work at now, you really cannot.
That's right. You
have certain things that you're allowed to do, and that's it.
So there are some jobs that are good for just stepping stones, but once you've learned at least 6 months to a year, you need to move on. But how long do you think that person should stay at that job? Because I know most recruiters will say you need to have at least a year experience, 5 years, blah, 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 blah. But for me, it's totally different. What do you think?
I don't agree with people saying experience, because if you have the gift of touch, you have the gift of touch. I have personally had massages by someone straight out of massage school, and that blew me away. And I've had someone that's been a veteran for 10 years, and I don't know if it's because they lost the passion or whatever, but it's all what it comes down to. It is the gift of touch. And definitely when it comes to working at a chain, I would say 6 months, to a year, if you can make it that long. You know, it's because you do need the experience, and you're right. You can be amazing, naturally gifted, but you do at the end of the day need that mastering of your skill, and that is going in every day and trying to be better than you were yesterday.
That's right.
And if you are at a place for 5 months and you say, you know what, I am better than this, then please, by all means, go find your better, because you're going to get more money, you're going to be happier doing what you love to do. Did I say more money? I know it's not all about money, but
it's a big part.
It's a big part. Because, you know, you can work for yourself and charge 100, you know, or 60, I guess. Charge 60, but I say 100 because usually you get tips and it comes out to be that much. But 60 versus the starting around here, the starting rate is what, like 15? $15 versus 60 versus mobile spas where they give you 80.
Yes.
There's a big difference. So yeah, start off slow, start off wanting to master, and then you'll see yourself going far.
And if you don't mind telling people who are watching this, which area are you referring to? Is it
Northern Virginia?
all right? Because a lot of people think that I have to stay in my state or I have to put up with nonsense just because I live pretty far or in a different state that only requires $9 an hour or minimum wage. I think for a lot of therapists, they're scared to move or scared to. We have the luxury of living in Northern Virginia, D.C., Maryland, because we're bordered by 3 states. Well, D.C. is not a state, but we have the luxury of just picking and choosing, and they're all high value areas, just like Silver Spring or Rockville on the Maryland side is very wealthy, but that's the only place that I would work in Maryland versus DC. DC is always going to be very wealthy and have money. Virginia definitely is going to be the kind of the cream of the crop. But if you're like Southern Maryland or Western Maryland, like near the Chesapeake Bay, it's hard because you have to almost accept minimum wage, or unless you're going to drive more than an hour and a half. Do you think therapists, if they wanted to make a move to another state, would be wise or beneficial?
It's tricky because that's actually where I'm at right now, where it's you're at a place, but you want to be at a different place. But you have to understand that that transition takes a lot to build up clients again. You know, you're going to go into a place where all of a sudden you're starting over from scratch. You're not going to have fully booked. So now you're probably looking at like a month or so where you're trying to get your slots filled.
That's right.
And you can go from maybe 10% booked to 30% to 50, and then, you know, slowly creep back up to being fully booked. But in that transitioning period, you still have bills to pay, you still have life to live, and it's tricky. So I feel like a lot of times people get trapped. They feel trapped, and they want better. Like I said, sometimes you just gotta, you know, take that leap of faith and be like, I deserve more than this.
And the reason why I brought that up was there are schools that have taught a lot of people, students, that, hey, you can make $100,000 a year for facials and massage and chemical peels. You can do this, do that. You're going to work with Hollywood stars, and you know, we're going to pay you $25 an hour plus your tip. Yeah, okay. Or $50 an hour. You're going to get 80% commission just to get you in and just to keep you at that school. And that's why I brought up that question, because a lot of people will make that transition without thinking about everything you just said and just make the move, and it's kind of foolish. If you didn't do your research.
Just prepare and save and plan and set yourself goals. Especially when you start getting the money in, you know, easy come, easy go. So you have to stay focused. You have to understand what the bigger picture is for yourself. Do I want to stay at this place? You know, make your 6-month plan, make your year plan. Within 5 years, are you going to work for yourself? Are you going to own your own place? You know, are you going to have mobile on demand? Are you going, you know, as long as you know what your purpose is and work towards that, you'll see everything fall into place.
All right, today we have Nikki. She's a wonderful esthetician, and she's an independent contractor. She works for herself, and she's going to tell you guys how it is working in her environment or on her own schedule in the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, for those who don't know. And we would like to welcome Nikki. So Nikki, how many years have you been in the aesthetics business?
Okay, so hello. I've been in aesthetics for a year since school, and I love it.
Wonderful. So what do you love about it so much? Is it because you get to work with, I don't know, movie stars, or you get to mess with people's face and really show a difference and pop pimples and all this other good stuff?
Okay, so what I love about it is the independence. First of all, being able to work for myself. I have an extensive amount of medical background, and I just wanted to find some way to still be able to help people, make a difference, and do something in the beauty industry. So my favorite part about it is having my own schedule, meeting new people, helping them feel good about themselves, popping pimples, and all of those great things.
Wonderful. All right. So Nikki, since being in the aesthetics industry, working in Maryland, DC, or Virginia, which do you prefer?
Probably so far Maryland. I'm not sure why. I guess because I really don't have a specific, like I would go from DC, Maryland to Virginia. I don't really have a specific about which one I prefer to work in. I just know that the group of people live in Virginia are more up on their skin and the care of their skin than I find that some of the ones in certain parts of Maryland or DC. Mm-hmm. So what I like about what I'm doing is being able to introduce people to caring for their skin in all three, Maryland, DC, and Virginia. So I really don't have a specific as far as which area I prefer to work in.
All right, wonderful. Do you sell products on the side, or do you just go to somebody's house or event and provide services?
I sell products on the side. So far, since I graduated from school, I've done something outside of skincare, is create a natural hair care product with shea. And I also go to people's houses. I prefer the mobile aesthetics business. So once I get a broader idea of all the different products, I will be traveling with those products as well, or creating my own, which I am really interested on now, creating my own products.
All right. So do you prefer, or what do you bring with you during your events? Like how many bags? Is it easy? Is it a little cumbersome at times? Do you need help?
As far as bags, I usually travel with about 4 bags and a table. It is cumbersome. I don't necessarily need anyone with me. As long as I have my trolley and I'm prepared and organized, then I'm pretty good with traveling.
Perfect. All right, so once you are licensed, or if you're licensed now, which place do you prefer to work in? Do you prefer to work in an established company, or one of the not fast food chains, but a massage chain or esthetician chain such as Envy, the Rojo Door, and the Heights? What would you prefer? And I have to say their names for security purposes, don't get sued and whatnot.
Right. Well, my thing is really working for myself. Like I don't mind working for some of these chains, but I don't want to be on their full schedule. Like I want to be on an on-call part-time basis where they call out when they need me. As far as which specific place, I really couldn't say. Like I just want to pretty much try all of them, but still at the same token be on my own and create my own brand and name.
I understand that. So what is a good tip that is acceptable for your, not so much your standards, but an esthetician should look forward to? Like a really good tip that allows for gas or food, or $20 for your traveling fees. What do you think is acceptable?
I'm not, could you kind of like rephrase?
Oh, so say somebody is tipping you for your service.
Oh, a tip.
And gives you like $5. Is that cool with you? Or what's a really good tip that esthetician should look forward to?
About $10, I would say. I like a $10 tip because you already charge a pretty good amount for the services. It's not an overage, or you're not, shortening yourself as it is. So a tip is gracious.
Gotcha. And in the future, who would you prefer to work for if you weren't doing the independent business? or if you are going to do independent on the side, who would be like a dream employer to work for? A plastic surgeon's office, a destination cruise ship?
Probably a plastic surgeon's office because of my extensive medical background. And I would think a cruise ship just so that I can get a little bit of the travel in myself.
Perfect. Do you have any haters in your industry? I know in almost any job you're always going to have somebody that is jealous of you because you're younger or you know more than them, your background is extensive. Do you have anybody who is just your competitor all the time?
At this moment, no, but I'm sure I do. I just am not aware of them, but you have haters and everything, so you're always going to have some competition.
All right. So how do you market yourself for your independent business? You know, do you do social media, Groupon, all that good stuff?
Yeah, social media, business cards, flyers, and just word of mouth, networking.
All right. So in closing, your school that you went to, can you say, abbreviate the name, not so much the whole name, but where you went to and your experience at that school?
Okay, I went to BSOM, Steiner Institute of Aesthetics, and it was nice. I guess because I came there with a medical background, I've been in school before, so I knew what I was coming for. So it didn't take much. I just needed pretty much the books and just a lead, but after that I pretty much picked up everything that was being read and learned from there. I don't really know what else to say about that.
All right. So did your school prepare you for, I guess, your future aesthetics career? I guess book-wise or learning-wise?
I would say that the books prepared me and just the basic experience and just having the medical background kind of prepared me for the sanitation and things like that. Just the basics they prepared me for. I kind of give myself the majority of the credit.
Amen. All right. So the book that you guys had was Milady's book, right?
Yes.
All right. Always an awesome book to study from.
Yes, Milady's.
And lastly, what would you like to tell future aesthetics or beauty or wellness professionals to look out for, or what they need to expect right after school or working in your industry right now that you have seen that might be helpful for them to know?
Pick up your own good habits because you can go to several places and you might not have what you need. So I would suggest that you pick up good habits on your own. Take the basics that you learn about sanitation and just build on that, but and just be mindful of customer satisfaction and making sure that your customers are satisfied, and everything else should be fine.
All right, perfect. Are there any? Thank you guys for watching our video about aesthetics, and I have chosen reliable, trustworthy estheticians that I know will tell you the truth, and they have no cut card, and they're not gonna give you a lot of fluff and buff about the industry and how great it is, and just a bunch of lies like how school will prepare you for. Certain schools or aesthetic schools that we have gone to, I'm talking about everybody in general who is an aesthetics professional, we know that our schools have lied to us. They told us we were going to make a certain amount of money. It's going to be an outstanding career. Every day is going to be sunshine and rainbows and blah, 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 blah. And it's tough out here, especially for an esthetician that's just starting out, a basic esthetician who isn't even a master esthetician, who doesn't work under a doctor's office or has the full knowledge of what you can do and what you should do and how to protect yourself in this industry. So the schools, their job is to get you in. You are a number to them. They're not there to hold your hand and to give you your license. They're not going to just hand it to you. They're going to give you bits and pieces of the story, and then now you have to figure out the rest of the story on your own. It's like an open-ended book, like a book that doesn't close. You're kind of forced or thrown in the lion's den or thrown in with a pack of wolves and expect to survive. And for me, my basic school for basic aesthetics, and that's basically just learning how to cleanse the face, tone the face, exfoliate, do a skin analysis, moisturize, and protect with your sunscreen. That's basic aesthetics, and that's all it is, basically. And using certain machines. Right now I'm in front of my, 14-in-1 facial machine, and my basic school didn't even have microcurrent or something simple as an ultrasonic scrubber, or even the proper pads for your face to wash and cleanse your face with, the cotton pads. We definitely didn't have the correct sponges. We didn't have any sponges, actually. I went to a terrible and horrible basic aesthetic school. It was in Alexandria, Virginia, and I'm not going to say the name because it's a shitty school, and I don't want them having any recognition. I don't even want to send people to that school at all. It was terrible. And it was black owned. Go figure. All black school, well, not all black school, but all, black owned. I went there because I'm like, wow. The classes are diverse. You have a lot of people in there who are white, black, Indian, Spanish, Puerto Rican, Pacific Islander, and other, and a Russian, and you name it. All walks of life were going there, right? It was veteran approved or accepted for the GI Bill, which paid for my school. And I thought it was a great idea because it was a young director, young black female, that I wanted to empower her. And I was like, man, you know what? We don't have too many businesses of our own or anybody of color that we can support. So I was like, okay, I'll give this school a chance. They gave me the tour. It looked great. But come to find out, her own daughter was teaching some of the classes. She wasn't even a cosmetologist. She has no license. I think she has a nail license. I think that was about it. And she was teaching us basic aesthetics. She was teaching massage therapy. She's teaching all these other school or programs or modalities that she hasn't even have a license in. And I looked her name up just to make sure, and she doesn't. Even her as a director, she holds a nail license. She's not a cosmetologist, a true cosmetologist. She just took nail courses. So I put my faith in this school and was led astray. I did a lot of YouTube research, the good and bad videos. YouTube is great because it can show you some great videos, and yes, they do have way more bad videos than good, just to put that out there that you can learn from. But you can learn from those bad videos because when you take an actual continuing education class, you're like, oh, those YouTube videos are really terrible, but they showed you how not to be terrible anymore. You know what I mean? So those people who are telling you, hey, you should do this and do this chemical peel on your face, they're not even estheticians. But who knows when you aren't even being taught properly in a basic aesthetic school. So what really got me into aesthetics is one of the questions that we're going to go over, because I think in this video that I've shown people with the other estheticians that you've seen in the earlier segments, they were all wondering, where's your role? Where's your part? We want to hear from you. So this is why I'm doing an extension of doing my own interview, pretty much, a self-interview. And I trust those estheticians that were on the video that you've seen. They're willing to learn, they're experienced, and they're just good people. And I trust all of them. So they said, why don't you do your own video, and we would like to hear from you, and other people want to see your view. So the questions that they have given me is, what made you get into the aesthetics field? I do massage therapy. I've been doing this massage therapy before I got into aesthetics for 8 years at the time. My back started to go out. I'm starting to hurt. I get tired of crappy people requesting certain things. And if you watch my massage video, you'll know those things that I'm talking about. So please, watch that, and you'll see why I truly got out of massage therapy. Because it can be raunchy. It can be racially motivated. It's a lot of things in massage therapy. So without being burnt out and standing on my feet for hours on end and getting low pay. Aesthetics, you sit down just like how I am, get paid pretty well, at least $18 and up. You can't beat that. You know, even massage therapists, they paid estheticians more than massage therapists, and massage therapists have more clients. You know, that's not true in every field. So that's what really got me into it, is not burning out in this field, because I love massage therapy. I love aesthetics. I like feeling that I'm healing somebody's body. I'm healing their skin to be their best person. And that's what really got me into it. It's just, I didn't want to give up on this industry and get burnt out. So another question was, how much do you get paid, or what is a good pay scale of an esthetician? For me, going through so much training, so basic aesthetics is 600 hours. Then I went to a master aesthetics course, which is another 600 hours. So you're talking about 1,200 hours right there. 1,200. It's a lot of school. It's a year's worth of aesthetics. Then I have massage therapy. I have 900 hours of massage therapy. I'm also a continuing education provider for massage therapy and aesthetics. So I can give people their continuing education courses and keep their licensing. So I have multiple licensing in a lot of places. So I command a price that most chains, like a Red Door, Massage Heights, Massage Envy, any other chain, Hand and Stone, they technically can't even afford me. And what I mean by that is I'm a master esthetician. They only require a basic esthetician. So for me to get hired with them, I would have to take a pay cut. Like, I start off my negotiation with, I would like to start off at $20 an hour. That's at minimum, because I know that's what they're kind of going to give me. You know, by going on all these interviews, that's what I've been having success with. Now, there are some interviews at a medi-spa or a privately owned type of spa where I'll command $25 an hour. I'm not going to say 20 at all. I'll let them say 20, and I might think about it. I'll say 22. I'll counter. So my initial offer, if it's a high-end spa, medi-spa, destination spa, or cruise ship, yeah, I definitely want $25 an hour, or I would like to request $25 an hour, because I feel through my training and experience, I am great at what I do. Point blank in period, I really am great. I'm a massage therapist and an esthetician, master esthetician. I've worked in certain places where certain doctors even ask me questions because they want to know certain skin types. How do I do this? They assume because I'm black, I know everything about people of color skin. I mean, which I do, but it's still kind of racial, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, at medium, or not medium, but at minimum, $20 an hour at the chains, they're going to start me at 20. I'm not accepting 18, I'm not accepting 19. No, I want 20. 1950 can be negotiated, but I still want 20. At the higher end, I request 25. So the next question is, where do you go, or where did I go to school for my basic and master aesthetics course? Like I said, I can't tell the names, but for my master's course, I did go to the Aesthetic Institute in Falls Church, Virginia. Or actually, it's in Fairfax County, Virginia. There's like borders on both sides, but it was a really good school. I have just a little few gripes and grudges and complaints about that school, how I've sent them 4 students that I have taught at other schools, and they were interested in aesthetics, and I sent them 4 people, and they barely even let me come and teach a class or inform them about my school or continuing education credits, and I think that's unfair. But anyway, it's like 4 people at $12,500 a pop. Man, I've made you over $40-something thousand or $50,000 from 4 people. Shouldn't I have the right to come and advertise my business at your school like you let everybody else do? But other than that, the school was great. I had great instructors, from Kim to Neela. I'm trying to think of my other instructors. Dr. Afshin. I mean, you name it. I had diverse amount of teachers: white, black, Indian, Persian, from Afghanistan to Indian, you name it. you know, we had Carla. She's a black female. She young, sharp. She was cool. Ileana, like we had a lot of good people looking out for us, and they really cared about the students. So that's where I went. The next question is, do you have to go through a lot of adversity being a male esthetician? Of course. My first day of basic aesthetic school, it was rough. Don't get me wrong. I'm the only male in a cosmetology school at the time, except for this one guy named Devin, but he was on the cosmetology side learning hair. So that side is kind of blocked off from our side. It's just two walls or a middle wall that blocks off both of our classes. So we don't really mingle with the other side. So in my class, there's 8 other females plus me, so it's 9 altogether. We had an uneven class because one girl got pregnant and she had to leave her. Normally it's 10 students. And at first they didn't like me. They didn't know why I was there. They didn't even know. They kind of thought I was a spy or a customs enforcement officer, you know, I like immigration enforcement officer, because everybody at that school was pretty much students from other countries. They just didn't trust me, point blank period. But as time progressed, and they knew I would read the book. The book, Milady's book, which is awesome. It's an outstanding book. I like the Milady's book. It's a book with the little the model on top. She's African American. She has that mean, fierce RBF face going on. You know, that resting bitch face. But she looks good, and she's on the Milady's book. But anyway, I got through that book real quick because I was interested in skincare and facial work and how to heal bumps and acne, because I had really bad ingrown hairs, bumps on my face, all on my forehead, which now is like spotless and free and clear finally. But not during school. All this was infected, bumps everywhere. I had my ingrown hairs were terrible. My face was red down here, like purplish, because it was just, you know, impacting my skin. It was crazy, irritating my skin. So I got into it real heavy, and they started to learn from me, like, hey, how are you on chapter 22 already and you just started? I'm like, well, I read ahead. Some of the students in the school, they didn't know they could read ahead. Like I said, some of them were foreign, some of them were just starting out from school. Like they probably went to school back in the day, but they didn't complete high school or whatever it was. They just got a GED, so they got back into the swing of things from studying, and so they would learn off me, like, yeah, you can go ahead, you can, as long as you master this chapter, go on to the next. Don't wait for our instructor, who is a nail tech. She's not even a esthetician, but she's teaching us, which was weird. So we all felt the same way, and that's when we all gelled together. They could see that I knew more than an instructor. They could see that, hey, how did you do this? How did you pass? Do you have to do 3 passes? Do you have to cleanse the face 5 times? She doesn't even know. Our instructor was late pretty much every morning. She had this little knucklehead boyfriend. And keep in mind, our instructor was only 19 years old. Yeah, just turned 19, because I remember her birthday. Right when I got there, they were celebrating her birthday. So she was super young, didn't know what she was doing, and didn't really care. She was cool. She was a good person, just bad teacher. So once we were all on the same page and we had a common goal and common enemy, the enemy of my enemy was my friend. So we all got together and learned off each other. The next question is, should an esthetician look the part? And these are all questions I got from YouTube or other estheticians who bear with me. It's basically just short and simple. So should an esthetician look the part? Of course an esthetician should look the part. They should have like a white smock or, you know, little overcoat, have their name at the bottom, or master esthetician, whatever you are, esthetician, then your name at the bottom, or either or vice versa. Clean cut, clean face. There's so many people I've seen that worked for corporate esthetician type places and massage spas, like Massage Envy, Red Door, Massage Heights, Hand of Stone, just name a few of the idiots places that I worked in. And those estheticians, no matter how much caked on makeup or caked up makeup they have on their face, they can't hide the bumps. Some bumps are so huge and terrible. I'm like, why would I trust you to clean my face if your face is fucked up? Why am I going to choose this place if you're just gonna have estheticians who are like 300 pounds or 400? What, even that girl might be nice, or the guy might be the greatest person in the world, but it's almost like if you are selling weight loss pills and you're 500 pounds. How can I trust you? And you might have a good product. I just don't know. You should look the part. If I'm going for a personal training session and you're trying to whip me into shape, I'm doing all that exercise, all you're doing is yelling, that's not a personal trainer. Personal trainer will get down on the floor with you, they'll exercise with you. That's somebody who's supposed to do that. An esthetician is supposed to look the part. I'm just saying, that's what the question is asking for. That's just my opinion. Alright, so what do you think about over-the-counter products? Over-the-counter products, I think they're meaning just over-the-counter products such as the facial washes that are available right in the stores instead of getting a medical script or going to see a dermatologist. They are good if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 bumps, maybe 6, give or take, in different areas. They're good. They're going to wash, they're going to dry out, tone, all that good stuff. They're going to cleanse your skin, moisturize. They work. But if you have pitting acne, like scars, ice picked acne, that's holes in your face, you have hyperpigmentation, that's like brown spots, white spots, hypopigmentation, you have rosacea, distended capillaries, like spider veins for the face, or if you're uneven skin tone such as like melasma, like the pregnancy mask, or port wine stain, none of those over-the-counter anything is going to help you. It'll cleanse maybe the first 5 layers of skin, which is enough to clear a couple bumps, just 1 or 5 or 6 bumps. It's not going to eradicate hyperpigmentation. I have rarely ever have heard of a fade cream. I get mad at Ambi and all these other products that claim that this is a fade remover or dark spot remover. No, it's not. There's a bleaching effect cream that's in there, but it can be bad for your skin. It can cause all types of other issues internally that you have no idea about. There are certain superstars back in the day, like what happened to Lisa Turtle from Saved by the Bell, Lark Voorhees. You see what happened to her skin, or not Jasmine Guy, but there's a couple actors that they wish they wouldn't have used a bleaching cream or a lightening cream. They call it lightening or fading. It's a toxic chemical you're literally putting on your face to change a skin tone, an underlying skin tone at that. And it can permanently cause you to have marks on your face that you never ever want. You just look like a ghost. So to get rid of serious problems, no, they don't work. Proactive and all that stuff, it has a good formula. It's just a little bit too abrasive for certain people's skin types 4, 5, and 6. You probably might want to stay away from it or use it in moderation. Light strokes over the face, nothing saturated or heavy of using that product. That's like kind of one of the strongest over-the-counter is Proactive, but it burns. It's not tailored for everybody. Just be careful. But as far as just cleansing your face, getting rid of little small imperfections, hiding or covering up certain bumps or healing certain things, yes, they do work. I'm not here to bash anybody's product. It's just what they're claiming, rapid wrinkle reduction. There's nothing rapid about any wrinkle. It took you several years to get that wrinkle. It will probably even take longer to get rid of. There's nothing rapid wrinkle anything. Nothing is rapid about your skin. Nothing. To even get new skin cells, it does not grow overnight. It takes about 12 hours just for that new cell to even try to grow and to move up throughout the levels of the skin. Stratum corneum, all that good stuff, the 5 layers of the skin, granulosum, spinosum, all that good stuff has to come up through the 5 layers before it can even mature. So that takes time. It takes a couple days actually, if not a month. 28 days to 30 days is the actual skin rejuvenation period. So when they tell you that this product does this and that, come on, let's just be honest. How long did it even take to get that problem? A couple days, if not a couple months, or 4 years. Then it probably will take a couple days, months, and years to even get rid of that problem. So that's just my honest opinion, but they are good. if you use them the correct way, and you have minor things like teenage acne, not severe acne, grade 3, grade 4 acne, you need a dermatologist, you need a master esthetician, or a basic esthetician that knows what they're doing. You need a chemical peel. I'm not saying every pill that a doctor gives you is great, because it's not. It messes with your hormones. It messes with, especially if you're female, the thyroid gland kind of controls your hormones. Those pills that they're giving you, especially birth control pills, and you're on Accutane, the stuff that the dermatologists are giving you. So now you have 2 hormone, things that disrupt your hormones. So 2 pills that cause crazy things to happen, thyroid gland to overreact. Now you got internal problems from like your reproductive system. Both of those pills at the same time can mess things up. So stop taking those pills, or get on a birth control that's actually good for your body, not just a regular old doctor recommended nonsense. Do your research and you'll do well. So the next question was, what should a new esthetician look out for? A new esthetician should look out for everything. I mean, everything that's not in line with your beliefs or your reasoning behind getting into the aesthetics business in the first place. Meaning, there are a lot of estheticians who are going to lead you down a path that's wrong for you. Because they hate you. You're new. You're fresh. You probably look better than them. You know more than them. So there will always be haters. That's always something to be looking out for, is the influencing of idiots. Find a way just to stay away from them. You don't have to get into fights with them. You only have to entertain their thoughts. Just move on. Your pay. Look out for changes in your pay or your contracts, because they change them all the time, even without your permission. Make sure you're on that right path to success, to promotion, to move on to another career or another job if need be. If you know you're talented and you are not being utilized for your talents at that job, and it's just a basic washing the face with soap and water and that's it, you're not really learning anything, you're not gaining any experience, or they're not paying for your continuing education units where you can excel and move on to other exciting modalities, they don't have any trainers coming in showing you new stuff, then move on. You are wasting your time. I know there's people at Massage Envy, Red Door, Massage Heights have been there 6 years or 7. I'm like, wow. When are you going to move on? When are you going to move on? So that's what you got to look out for, is getting comfortable and complacent. Forget that. Always stay learning, stay on top of your game, stay focused. You'll succeed. Trust me. And forget everybody else. You're not in the liking business. No one told you to become an esthetician you have to be liked. Fuck that. No, like yourself, move on. Who cares who likes you? I like, my money likes me. It likes being in my pocket, it likes being in my bank account. We're friends. We're best friends. Everybody else, no. Please. Next question is, what are some things you do that your clients love that other estheticians don't? Actually, just being genuine. Actually saying, hey, how you doing, Mrs. Smith? It is wonderful to see you. Saying it's wonderful to see somebody. How many times do you hear that out of a day? You know, some people, you're lucky if you get somebody to look in your direction and say, hey, how you doing? Or what's up? Hey, what's up, bro? You know what I mean? You're lucky if you even get that, or somebody to hold the door for you. For me, if they're coming back, I actually hold the door for them. I've seen estheticians, massage therapists, so on and so forth, who will go through a door, the door's still closed in the back. They didn't even hold the door for the person that's coming behind them. I'm like, that's the person you're working on. Why did you hold the door? Crazy. Or out of after you've done a session, walk them up to the front desk. Hold the door for them. Say, hey, have a great day. I will see you in 2 weeks, or I'll see you next Thursday. Make their schedule for them. Tell them to come back and see you when you want them to come back. Don't say, oh, I'll see you next month, or okay, have a good evening. No. I actually walk them up to the front desk and say, hey, I think this is the products that this is going to work well for your skin. I put those products in their hand, so once they put it in their hand, they can't let it go. They feel that they have to buy it. And I also tell them, hey, Janie, can you schedule Miss Johnson for next week? I'm already rebooking her without her even telling her she wants to rebook. I just say, hey, I would like to see Ms. JD back in the next 2 weeks, and I want you to give her a call to confirm that she's available in those next 2 weeks. But she's already in the books. She's in the system because she's already kind of obligated. Because a person who really wants to transform their skin and they know about their skin, they'll want to keep that. They know that esthetician could be gone in a heartbeat. Pass out your business cards to those worthy clients of having your business card, if it's allowed. Even if it's not allowed and you're about to move on, give that card to that client, because that client knows the good people don't last. They move on. It's the crappy people who stay for years and years and years. There might be a good person out of there once or twice, but no, 9 times out of 10, the great therapists or great anything, people move on. I use hot towels for everything, even for the hands, the neck. It's not just for the face. People love hot towels. Right on those shoulder blades, right on their ears. Right after I do that off the face, I clean everything off, the mask, all that good stuff. I hold that ear with that hot towel, where it's not scalding, but it's great. It's amazing. Even the heat from my thumb, because I'm doing a lot of hand movements, it feels good. So I use hot towels. I use aromatherapy. Whenever that hot steam's blowing out, put aromatherapy, a couple drops in your palm of your hand. Put it in front of the steamer. The steam comes down, they smell it. If you don't work with a steamer, put it in the hot towel. Put it right over their face. They're breathing it in. Their steam is permeating right over their face. They love it. Right after the session's done, dab 2 drops right on their shoulders. They always wonder, what is that? The number one thing that I sell is aromatherapy sometimes, because aromatherapy bottles are only $10 to $15. They're cheap. Hey, here's a bottle of aromatherapy. You know what I mean? This is what I used in our session. They buy it. I don't worry about having them buy the $95 products or the $100 products. I don't push products. I push the stuff that I use on their face because they ask for it. They say, hey, what was that you used? It smelled great. Hey, it's right here. It's $10. I'm just going to keep it at the front for you. Once you get dressed, I'll have it waiting for you. They're automatically going to buy it. I've rarely have had a client ever leave the product right there on the shelf. It's rarely happened. It has happened, yes. But being the customer's cheerleader, pretty much, or their hype man or their go-to person to tell them that they are gorgeous, they are beautiful, you are changing, you're glowing. They love those words. And actually they are. If you're a great esthetician, you're backing up your words. You're backing up your work. So prove your work or prove your worth first is like my motto. So if I'm trying to prove something to you, I need to show you what I've done, and now you have faith in me. They're going to keep coming back. Other little things, just knowing their names. You don't have to always know all their birthdays and get into their, oh, how's your kids, and how's little Johnny's soccer practice. That's a little bit too much information. But just knowing their name, their last name, hey, how's the weather, you know, finding out what their teams are, what they enjoy. And then you have something to talk about in the room. You'd be surprised how fast an hour goes by having a good person on the table. So that's just my recommendations. The next question is there diversity in the aesthetics field? There is now, I would say in the last 5 to maybe 8 years that I've seen. I have only been in the aesthetics field for, I'm coming up on actually my 8th year. No, actually, I'm sorry, 7th year. And so I'm still new, but I'm not that new. You know, I'm a veteran, but I've seen where when I first started, and it's only 7 years ago now, that me coming into the aesthetics field, especially I'm African American, I'm black, if you can see. It's very hard, it's tough. So the other things that I've seen is if you're competing with massage therapists don't like estheticians because you're taking some of their clients. Maybe clients don't want to come in for a massage today, they want a facial. They don't always work well, but they have changed that. Like now everybody works together. So it's rough start in the beginning when everything is new, but then once somebody gets to know you, everything changes, everything falls into line. When they know you know what you're talking about, they don't even judge the color of my skin. They just see the flawlessness of it or certain areas. They say, man, okay, what are you using? I don't care what color you are. I want to know what the products that you use on the client's face in your workplace. To be honest with you, no. 100% no. The crap that most of these corporations push on people, the products, they're terrible products. And what I mean by terrible is they say that this product will rapidly reduce wrinkles. It will get rid of, and it actually says get rid of hyperpigmentation. That's a bunch of crap. You know, even if you use this product day in and day out, it still doesn't have even the amount of product that is needed to flush it out. If your product is like a small, or not even a small, but a big bottle, or maybe 16-ounce bottle, maybe 10%, if you're lucky, 20%, 15 or 20% is actually filled with good stuff. But the rest of that bottle, which is way down here, so this is the good stuff, this is the bad stuff. See how big? So you would have to use that one bottle within that same week to see any type of results. Those bottles last for months. You know what I mean? Some can last 1 month, 2 months, even 3 months if you use it sparingly. So sparingly means you're going to see small results over time, but you would have to wash morning, noon, and evening to really see the effect. And then that could be overwashing, over drying your skin, over saturating it with a lot of nonsense. Most of them are fillers, parabens, a lot of crazy stuff that they have to put in these products that have to last on somebody's shelf. The big box stores, the big retailers. The smaller containers or smaller bottles, maybe 2 ounce, 4 ounce, 6 ounce, and maybe a little bit sometimes 8 ounce. That's good stuff. You know, maybe 8 ounce, but 6, 4, and 2, and it's $95. That's kind of the best stuff. That's the good stuff. But the good stuff is expensive. So the stuff that we use, and I'm not talking about medi spas or destination spas or your own practice or a plastic surgeon's office. No, they are exempt because they are going to use the best products. They are expensive. Now I'm talking about the chains, and you know who I'm talking about. Red Door, Massage Envy, Handstone, all those other places, you know, Massage Heights. They're using just soap and water on your face, and you are paying $70, $80. That's what you're paying for, soap and water. Stuff that you could do at home. And I know sometimes I will tell a client, hey, look, because they're always asking, hey, the products that I use or you use on my face, you know, what do you recommend? I tell them I recommend other products. I recommend that you actually see a dermatologist or a master esthetician such as myself in another setting where I can actually be honest with you. I'm not here to bash the business that I'm working for right now, but I'm going to be honest with you as well, because I don't like lying to my clients. I don't. It's something it's a pet peeve of mine. Like, I prove my worth first. I know what's going to work for your skin, because if I keep pushing a bad product on you and your skin's not changing, it's not changing, but you took my hundreds of dollars throughout the months and years or whatever, and nothing's getting done. What does that say about me? I'm a fraud. I'm just doing it because the corporation is doing, and they're a fraud. You know, and bitch don't run through me. I mean, it doesn't. I'm not going to that level. You know what I mean? It's just beneath me. It is. And I know some people are like, oh, you shouldn't be saying this and saying, man, fuck that. I say what I want to say. And most of you know, if you worked in a place, you know what I'm talking about. They're terrible products. Now, they're not so terrible if there is an exception. I will say this. Those products, if you are a young teenager, young adult, or a middle-aged adult to an older adult that has minor problems, I mean a bump or two here and there, a hormonal bump here or there, that stuff will work because it has at least enough, the efficacy of that product is good enough to zap out or slowly eradicate certain small problems. And that's the truth. It just is. all these masks and all this other crap that they push on you to buy, and you have to have this with this, and this serum goes with this, and it's not even a good serum. If that serum says expiration date 2025, man, that's how many years from now? I mean, good grief, that's a long time. You know, so why is it lasting that long? Or 3035, you know, it ends in 30,000 BC or whatever, AD, BC, whatever, in the future. So is that product any good? No, that's like a MRE. Does anybody know what an MRE? If you don't know MRE, meal ready to eat. In the military, you get these packs. And the crackers can last 10 years. The cheese lasts for 10, 20 years. You're eating stuff that has been in a storage facility and that can last for 10 to 20 years. What is in this cheese that makes it last this damn long? What radiated food is this? Like, it's a lot of craziness. They've revamped their MREs, don't get me wrong, but a lot of veterans are still dealing with crap they've eaten in Vietnam, Gulf War, 9/11, and so on and so forth. Because of shelf life. Shelf life doesn't mean that your life is going to last long. It just means it's something to sustain you or that person who has to eat it at that time. And it will stay on that shelf for quite some time until someone needs to eat it. But when you eat it, you don't have a shelf life when that crap goes into your system. Same thing for the stuff on the face. It is not protecting your system. So no, I don't use the product. No. That I don't want to say product name, but you know, if you worked in those chains that I just named, you know what products I'm talking about. And it's just the moneymaker. So the next question: do you sell products and do you have a quota? I do sell products. I like selling products that work. I like selling chemical peels to people that aren't too crazy to where they're going to go home and burn their face off and do more harm. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there that will advertise certain websites that sell chemical peels that probably are pure acid, putting it on your face. And I've seen people's craziness on YouTube. I'm like, you are an idiot. None of them are estheticians, except for a very select few, and I mean very select few. I've done the homework and the research and had to put them on blast. I've typed them certain messages. I'm like, this is bullshit. Why would you tell somebody to put this on their face plus that? Madness. So I like selling good quality products. Yes, I do. I like making a lot of commission, good commission too, because that's where you make good money. Make sure that the person that you work for is cutting you in on a good commission rate, like a good price. I would say at least, I know the standard is normally like 6 or 7% commission, which is terrible. It has to be in the teens for me. I need 12%, I need 15%, 20 would be even better, would be great. Percent commission. You're not really on products, you're not really going to get a 50% commission unless you work something out with your boss, whatever. I mean, and that's awesome. I've only had that happen one time at a salon I worked at in the very, very beginning when I was a massage therapist. And I would sell the lotions, the creams, oils, all the aromatherapy. I would get 50% of just selling that bottle. So she would mark it up another 50%. So she's still not losing anything, if that makes sense to you. So if aromatherapy costs 20 bucks, I'm getting 10, she's getting 10. She bought that aromatherapy bottle for about 2 bucks, maybe $5. And she has things shipped from overseas. Overseas, you can get aromatherapy very, very cheap. But if you buy in the States, man, aromatherapy can cost you $25, $30, $50 for one little vial. Does it last you forever? Yeah, it pretty much does. But that's pretty expensive. So her markup, she still wins. You see what I'm saying? So I can take 10, she still gets 10. And even if that bottle costs $5, she still made $5 and just took the other 5 and replenished her inventory. So she's selling plus earning at the same time and giving me a cut. But that's kind of rare. So if you can find that, keep it. That's awesome. The next question is, oh, I'm sorry. To backtrack to the other question, original question, Do we have a quota? Yes. Almost every place that you work in, they're going to have a quota. They're going to push products. When you first get hired, they don't really care. Your first 6 months, maybe they might not pay attention to you because they know your first 3 months you're trying to gain clientele. Then the next 3 months is like, hey, yeah, you got to sell these products. So yes, they're going to want you to at least sell 2 products per person, per week, per year, whatever it is, their little quota. Because if you don't sell certain things, their boss is actually in their butt saying, wait a minute, yes, you're bringing in clientele, but this product has been sitting on our shelves. And sometimes when you buy too much product, you have to move it. It can cost you money. Because then now you have to mark down your price. You have to get 30% off because it's outside of its date. It's expired. A new product has come out that everybody loves. So you could lose thousands of dollars, especially if you bought a lot of inventory. And I've seen businesses go through this all the time. That's why they have sales. It's shit that they couldn't sell during the year. Now they have to sell it because new shit is coming in. So do we have a quota? Yes. The bosses have a quota. You really don't, but it's the boss who has the quota. And they're not going to tell you that. I don't think they'll ever tell you that. But there's a way to actually that they get credit for your sales. And they didn't do shit. And it bugs the shit out of me. And some of you know what I'm talking about. And you will know what I'm talking about. Yes, you will get paid from it. But they're getting an actual bonus plus promotion if throughout the year, if they're in the red every quarter. Every 3 months is a new quarter. Especially in the beginning of the year, they start off good. At the end of the year, and they're starting off with a surplus of money in the new beginning of the year, they're doing well. That's how they get promoted. Off of you. Your hard work, your blood, sweat, and tears, all that good stuff. Yeah, you did it. You know, they should be high-fiving you, giving you money, but that's not the case. Next question. Do other estheticians or massage therapists hate you because you are dual licensed? Of course. They hate me if I'm just a single license. They hate me if I didn't even have a license, period. But because I'm great at what I do. I am. If you know you're great at what you do, tell yourself, you know, hey, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, man, you are the shit. I mean, you just got a $50 tip off of a 30-minute facial. Or, you know, not everybody wants the whole hour. And they still tip you really, really well because you do a good job. You've taken other people's clients because they were called in sick, and now that client that you were sick on, now they became your client. Or they just see your work. They will be at the front desk. So every time you go in and 2 other estheticians go in at the same time, or 3 estheticians, or whatever, they're going to look at your client's face and say, damn, what did you do? What did you do? Like, what products did he use? And they're going to, that's when they all talk. Because the front desk, that's when I will say a front desk sometimes will back you. They'll say, dang, girl, you look good. And, man, you are glowing. When they hear that, women, their ears raise up just like a German Shepherd or something. When a dog hears something, it's like, yo, it's like, man, yeah, what did he do? What products did he use? What was his technique? Sometimes it's just a technique. It doesn't have nothing to do with the products. My extractions, I don't use my hands. So many estheticians use hands. For what? Use an extractor. This is your friend. This extractor is the best thing ever. So going across my nose, even right now, and see all that's, oh God, I know you can't see them, but that's nothing but sebum and sweat that just kind of came off my nose because this is my oil spots. Let's see if I can wipe this freaking shit. But anyway, yeah, use your tools. I've seen people poking so hard. I had to shadow certain estheticians and watch them see what they're doing. I'm like, do you see how it's getting red right here and it started to turn purple, and you're still working on that one little bump and you still haven't popped it because you're going too hard. It's too much for certain people's skin. You will cause more bruising, popping capillaries where they have bruising on their nose. This, I rarely have any bruising. You're going to know if you're going too deep or too many passes. It also has a lancet. You just unscrew the back of it. Turn it over, put it back in. So now you have your extractor on one end and a lancet on the other. In the state of Virginia, you can lancet as long as you're under doctor's care or you're a master esthetician. They teaches it. You can lancet and poke holes and get in there. Milia, you need a lancet. I don't know how people keep thinking they can use Not just this, but their hands to pop milia. You can if you have sharp nails or hard nails. Milia is tough. You're an idiot. Why would they have all this bruising on their forehead and you're trying to pop those crazy, or milia right underneath the eye? This is the most sensitive area. Why are you even trying to pop? You have to lance it. Put some numbing cream, lance it. Question is, why do I feel that my bosses don't know anything and I know more than pretty much our owner, boss, or other co-workers? To answer this, everybody feels this way in a job that you are doing well at, or you study, you pretty much learn everything about the job, and you wonder why idiots are in power. I believe that's what the question is asking. From my training and experience, I've always been around a lot of idiots. I've always excelled past them, or sometimes that I couldn't excel past them because they had family members or nepotism, where the father was the owner, or the father was the manager, or the mother was the owner, or the mother was the manager, or aunts owned something and let their cousins and nieces and everybody else mess it up for everybody else, and they don't even know anything. And what I mean by they don't know anything is they're not in the same profession as you. There's going to be a lot, and I do mean a lot, of bosses who just have a, I guess, degree in other fields, maybe human resources or management, and for some reason these chains or certain medi-spas even, or doctor's offices, will hire someone with a degree and they have nothing to do with spa, just because that title or degree says management in it, or HR specialist, or management consultant, a master's in business administration. They will hire somebody easily, quickly, because they have a degree. Where this fails them is none of them are skilled in anything that they do. So take, for instance, if a business, hence a salon, medi-spa, corporate chain, they hire somebody straight out of college or somebody who's been around for a while, and they have no idea what the hairstylist does, what the nail tech does, what a laser tech does, what a master esthetician does, or esthetician. What does their jobs entail? Like, how do you put yourselves in my shoes if you're not a massage therapist? If you have no idea about standing on your feet for an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours, or longer to work on somebody's body, to have my thumbs, you know, killing me at the end of 1 or 2 sessions if it's 2 hours back to back to back. I'm a dual licensed therapist. Are you dual licensed? I don't think so. You're not even licensed in anything, but you actually have a degree in business management. They're really hiring these people for their business acumen, if they actually have, you know, a background in it. Not every college student that passes those business courses are business material. They were lucky enough to pass a test. There are some people who can take a test and don't have to study. Some people are actually just lucky. They just went through the motions and somehow, some way have been blessed to move on. And I know you know a lot of idiots, or a box of rocks, that they are as smart as a box of rocks. You know, worthless. You know, less. I mean, I could go on and on anyway. So basically the question, you are going to work with a lot of people who think they know what they're doing and don't know shit. You might even have somebody who actually is a nail tech, a massage therapist, esthetician, so on and so forth, and they still screw up. They think that they know it all and they don't. They can't talk to people. They're mismanaged. They're mismanaging people. They're leading people down a path that's leading to destruction. And I mean by that is they're making everyone mad, you know, and disgusted with that management. If the manager is hated by your workers, you'll never run a clean organization or have a good partnership with anybody. You can't run business like that, and too many businesses have that, where they have family members running the business, and I can't stand that. I worked at a massage envy where they really didn't even care about the aesthetic side at all. As long as we were making money, they didn't even have cotton for us, cotton rounds, cotton pads, sponges. We used the used warm towels in the heaters that the massage therapist would use after working on the client. We would have to use their towels sometimes that's been used, because we run out of towels, and I refuse to do that. That's crazy, but that's how they were training us to do. They said, hey, just use the hot towels in the hamper. It's the same towel that we wipe the feet off. It's their feet. That's crazy. Why would I put somebody's towel that I just used to wipe off, or the hot towel around the feet that feels great, feels wonderful, luxurious, then I put in this hamper? I'm supposed to get it out, put it back into the hot towel cabbie. It's already infected, so now I got to clean the hot towel cabbie, which is rather impossible because it has those little steel beams and cracks and stuff gets in there. You don't want to. Anyway, now I'm now contaminating the fungus and crap that's on your feet and putting it on your face. And that's what most people don't even realize, what they're actually getting into when they get these services at these chains. So family owned or ran businesses, where at the massage envy that I was at, that's what they would have us do. Or the guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but he had his own son which just turned 19 as a manager and just started 2 weeks. How did he become a manager within 2 weeks? His justification was he came from a daycare that he ran, and he was the manager at a daycare. Daycare is hard work. Oh no, I'm not saying it isn't, but what were you really managing? And it was you pretty much was just watching your son, and then you had your girlfriend working there as well. What management is that? You're only watching 2 or 3 kids. But so that qualifies him to be a manager over highly skilled people? It's a slap in the face. And that was his son. And then the father was married to the owner's daughter. So it was a family thing. And then the niece or cousin or whoever this other girl Cheryl was, I can't stand Cheryl. She knows who I am. She knows who I'm talking about. And if she sees this video, to hell, I can't stand Cheryl. I really can't. Okay. You know who I'm talking about. So thank you for watching my video. And I know it's a long video. I know it's more than 2 hours, I believe. But there's a lot of things in this industry that you need to learn about. And I can't even cover everything. There's no way. It would take weeks, months, years to go through everything. So I will be starting an actual channel to where you can go on the same channel with me and talk about aesthetics. So if you do have any type of feelings, or it could be good or bad, it doesn't matter. It doesn't always have to be bad. I think in this video is just showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly side of aesthetics or massage therapy, which I have 2 videos, one for both, but this is the aesthetics video. So feel free to watch both of them, and you'll get a better understanding of both industries and how to make them work for you, and how to be safe and protect yourself from anything, from somebody trying to come after you, saying that you did this, and complaints, and even to somebody suing you or trying to sue you. Good luck with that. Not everybody, or everybody shouldn't be scared if somebody tries to sue you. Anybody can sue you for anything. Just because you look mean at somebody, you could technically sue somebody. You know, you could say you were in fear of your life and craziness. You could sue that the water was too cold in an amusement park. I'm like, it's supposed to be cold. You could sue the sun almost if it was a person, which it's a living, you know, object. But you could still sue the sun and say it's too hot. I don't like you, which is crazy. So we live in a sue-happy country, so you have to be careful, and that's why I really made this video for all of you to pay attention and protect yourself. But don't worry about it too much. Just maintain your ethics and you'll always be fine. If you follow your protocol, you can't go wrong. They can't win in court as long as you're following the rules. Now, if you go outside the scope of practice and start using crazy stuff that you're not even permitted to do, then of course you're going to lose. There will be a time when you guys can come on the video, or anybody, if you feel that you've been mistreated, or how do I do this, what's going on in the next couple of years for aesthetics, my school's not teaching me anything new, or my job isn't teaching me anything new, where can I go? So that's what this next videos will be, with other aesthetic professionals that have been in the industry for many years, or if not at 1 year, and they may know a lot of training, free training that you can utilize, and that's great. Free is for me. I love free training, don't get me wrong, but I'll pay for training too if it's good training. So for my classes, if you go on my website, if you are in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, I teach classes that you are going to make money. I don't teach the regular bullshit just to satisfy your license. I mean, if you want that, that's fine, but I'm going to teach you something that's going to keep money coming in your pockets even if you do not renew your license. Something that you can use in the future without a license or with a license. So I hope you guys enjoy your careers. Always have a plan B, C, D, and so on, and keep on going. Always have a backup to the backup, a contingency plan. If this happens, what am I going to do if this fails? What am I going to do if this plan isn't going in my direction that I envisioned it? What am I going to do? So that's what you always have to do. I tell students all the time in my class, do not depend on aesthetics solely, or any job. Even if you have a great job, you can be fired, let go, get into a bad accident, whatever it could be. It could be just things that pop out of nowhere, out of the blue. You have to have a savings. You need to have something. I know people have kids, people have husbands, wives, girlfriends, so on and so forth, family members. You're going to have to learn to put all that crap aside, work on you, save your money, make your clients happy, do the best you can. Now, when you become a millionaire, billionaire, and all that good stuff, then yeah, you could afford to have 10 baby daddies, 10 baby mamas, and cousins, and paying for houses, I guess. But even those people go broke. If you haven't paid attention to sports athletes, movie stars, they have to sell their billion-dollar houses. It's a lot. So use wisdom. Use my experiences and the people's experiences in the videos to further educate yourself and to make yourself better. And you do not have to put up with the stuff that's at your establishment. If somebody's giving you a hard time, your boss, the owners, you do not have to put up with shit or crap. If they're mistreating you, you need to move on. But never, do not ever leave a job if you do not have a job. Unless you have a savings. There's one rule or exception to that. You can quit any job in the world if you have a nice savings. If you have a 401k plan or some sort of savings account that no one knows about, not even your significant others or family members. Forget that. Have your own savings. There's a lot of things in aesthetics that people want to teach you about, chemical peels and resurfacing peels and serums and all this other stuff, microdermabrasion and, you know, dermaplaning. That's all fine and great. That's going to make you money. But a lot of aesthetic teachers or education providers are not teaching people how to structure your business correctly, how to save your money, how to fix or build on your credit score. Everything in this world is about credit nowadays. And if you don't have the correct credit, man, you got to have the money. And if you don't have the money, what else can you have? You know, it's rough, it's hard, but it's easy if you work on yourself. I'm working on myself, paying my debts off, paying my student loans off on time, my car note, my mobile business. It's finally on track the way I want it. I don't have to market and spend thousands or hundreds of dollars on marketing anymore because I do everything on my computer now. I graduated with a certificate in computer information, so I do my own apps. So if you need an app for your business, I can make your app for you. I'm very affordable. Most app companies, you will spend $25,000 and up, at least $50,000. So for me, I'm self-sufficient. I try to only pay for things that I need, not want. So education is the key. I'm going back to school because I want to thrive in this business. I don't want to just survive anymore. I think almost anybody can survive. And thriving is just the ultimate for me now. And it should be for you as well. So thanks again for watching. Please continue to watch. We'll have new videos coming up soon. And feel free to contact me if you have any other questions.